People.
One of them astronauts.
Upper left is the right.
Mushroom scientist.
So,
I just
does
read the old one, and now...
anyone want to start out talking about... okay, so what we talked about this before you got here, and that is that we're collectively going to settle on a period. Just the period.
Okay.
And then from there, we'll talk about where in that period we want to hone in on. Do we want to be, in between periods? Do we want to be before X but after Y? So, but first and foremost, we're going to hone in on a period. Does anybody have any feedback or things to add about that? Because really, I want all of you to drive this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean the way, like feedback about the way we're going to go about it, or like a period that we want to do?
Feedback was the wrong word. I just want to know your thoughts on where you would like this campaign to settle into.
So we're gonna like
Timeline, dive in.
No, Lou.
I think it would be
Just-
fun to start with the Grand Mycologue, the largest school for wizards, and home to the council shares their knowledge with other civilizations. They create their own mycologues to fuel their ends, i.e. industry, religion, etc. I feel like that really opens up to like setting up the magical golden age that we're all really excited about. We can kind of decide how different races do that with their mycologues or whatever. And also, I think it's really interesting that we have these sleepers and the Grand Mycologue being created. And if we wanted to, we could even play into the Mycologue getting destroyed. I just think that's like an interesting part that I was like kind of excited to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it's like a little bit later in the timeline because I feel like we fleshed a lot of stuff a lot more out, like more in the beginning. We have a lot more detail, and I think it could be fun to fully realize some of this stuff like in the middle here.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any opinions?
I have a different opinion.
Hit me.
I like either the Demon Gate appears atop the volcano, becomes known as Devil's Peak, the Scourge is released on the realm, or magical Cold War between industrialists and naturalists. Just because it's like a lot of really specific drama that we can play off of, and we can create a lot. It's like not a time of peace, which is sort of like what I think of as the mycologue, is like kind of sort of like, I think every period would be a good choice.
Yeah.
And it's all interesting, but when I think of just sort of like a little bit more just like B action movie, which is what I think I'm more interested in starting with, is
That's
like
fair.
something with some like guts.
So I was
you
kind
know?
of picturing that too, but I was picturing,
How'd
I
that
was
go
picturing
again?
more like dealing with the sleepers and like, why is the demon lord coming back type thing, but
Yeah, I mean, like
Either
I
way.
said, I'm excited about every single period.
Yeah,
I
same.
just have a different opinion.
Also agree. So here's my take on that. So like I'm definitely curious about that period, and I want to play that one eventually. But I really want to go into, and again, also fucking fine with everything. But the Cold War is really engaging to me and is really like calling me in a lot of ways. And for similar reasons, like I don't want to start at the Demon Gate right away. Like I kind of want to have us getting into this world and like hearing about or uncovering things that happened in the past about the Demon War and like what that was like, and then maybe have moments where you can go back to it or play another campaign into that one.
Well,
But like I
that's
like having that
possible
as like
with
we're
the
developing it
Gatherers.
from the future, or we see the ramifications that we're developing in game, and then we get to go explore that back in the past again. And so like that's why I'm don't get me wrong, I'm super curious about the Demon War. Like there's so much in there I'm really excited about, and like obviously it comes back around, and like I want to explore that. But for that exact reason, I want to start not exploring that and like flesh out the world and see the effects of all of that happening, so then we can go explore that later.
like we kind of like create like the effect and then like realize the cause type deal.
Yeah, exactly. And,
That's-
and have vignettes that connect back. We're like exploring the pathways and see these things, and we get to explore it that way. And I think the Cold War is a really great time for that, because it's like it captures that magical golden age feel that Bill said from the beginning you wanted to get into, like a high magic sense, but it has that little bit of like that darkness of things are now downturned, and there's a lot of strife and conflict and drama.
And we're like losing our
Sounds
connections.
delicious.
And
Also,
stuff
Chicken
like
of the
that.
Woods.
Chicken of the Woods.
Also, if we save the Grand Mycologue until we start to learn who everybody is in the world and like where they're coming from. Instead of establishing it there, once we dive in there, we'll have like.
Well, I mean, it fully dies in this period, though.
Oh yeah.
We already
Yeah.
wrote that, but we also
Just the
wrote
grand.
that the wizards were taking advantage of the mycelium, even though they didn't realize it with the mycologs, and that's why it was destroyed.
That brings a question to my mind that I need all of us to answer. If we're playing out a portion of the story, and the story goes differently than what we've written inside of our historical timeline, how do we want to deal with that? Because if it were me just deciding it right off the bat, I would say that it's absolutely possible for all of you to, I don't want to say disrupt, but essentially like disrupt or change the timeline that we've all collectively written due to your players' actions. I think that would be really, really interesting. Then that would almost force us, when all is said and done inside of that storyline, to go back into Microscope and actually flesh out what did happen. And that way we can use like that point where your characters were as a starting point, and then the end point would be, I don't know, we could figure that out as we go along, but then that way we could, it would give us an opportunity to rewrite history based off of the actions of all of your characters.
I think realistically, like most of anything that we could change could be explained by our actions and not like mean that whatever we wrote didn't happen either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'd be really hard to actually like fuck up what we created because everything's so vague that it would be very hard to like change events to the point where like something didn't happen.
I agree with you almost 100%, but that there's that small percentage chance that, for example, like I think someone said it earlier, like you might save the mycolog, like and prevent it from being exploded. So that would be like, you know, a one possibility of like, oh wow, that now didn't happen in the timeline. So how does that alter everything else? You know, it's almost one of those landmark.
A couple ideas about that.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have something?
Oh, I was just gonna say we can. I also do not mind because that sounds fun, but also very complicated. As far as
What does it's just Meg? It's my dog.
like it
going
like
crazy.
as far as like pausing to rewrite history.
Mhm.
I like the idea of bopping in and out of what we've created, and then starting over. Like not like it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like every campaign in this world we create doesn't have to be a shared history. It's like we've created like an outline, and we can dive in to one and we can change everything, and we can speculate on what would happen later. And if we decide that we want to dive in to that alternate ending, we can do that. But we can also just like come out of it and then like start over and be like, now let's bop in here, and like have that perspective sitting lightly of like what like an alternative that could have happened. But
I don't think that's a bad idea, but I am inherently attracted to anything legacy-esque, meaning, you know, you all did something, you know, in the grand scheme of things, and then that changed history forever.
Yeah.
I'm very attracted to that idea, especially as a GM. But I'm also open to anything. Like I said, this is ultimately all of your decision because you're going to be choosing the starting point. So.
I kind of see it from the perspective that I want to
You're kind of selling me on the
avoid altering the timeline as we've created it too much. I'm not opposed to it, and I'll tell you the ways that I'm not opposed to it. But like, I don't want to feel to either us or our listeners or people who might be engaged in it like that we're like invalidating a bunch of things that we've done, right? By like, oh hey, you're really connected to this one piece, or like really, and then now that just goes away because we did this thing, right? That being said, I don't want to just say that, well, we can't possibly change anything. Like I see our timeline, almost from the perspective of like a historian from the future looking back on shit that's happened, right? And there, like this is the general flow, and maybe there's some certain things that did or did not happen. But I think some things can be changed. Like maybe like the mycolog is saved, but either something still comes back around and ultimately destroys it, or the effect still acts as if it was destroyed, right? So maybe we save the mycolog, but the effect is that something happened that severed the link between all of the mycologues, right? Because then all of those things subsequent to that still occurs. So maybe this historian, made some conclusions that the mycologue was destroyed, or some recording said this was the case. Like, I just don't want to suddenly cut off entire branches of our bonsai tree that is this world building that we've done and invalidate the time and effort and
these
creativity.
limitations that we've set for a reason that are
I have a
the only way
weird-
we can have a structure, because otherwise it's just willy-nilly, and why did we even do the
I have a weird
the
idea.
world
What
building.
if our timeline that we created was the essentially timeline of what is fated, right? And it's some higher being has written this out, but our characters are breaking exactly. The mycelium has written this, and it has seen that this is the path of fate. But our characters are proving to it that you don't have to if we do alter anything, our characters have proven that you don't have to adhere to what fate says you do.
I really like that meta sense.
It's
Yeah.
super meta, right? I know that was
time
weird.
travel and stuff a little bit too,
Yeah.
right?
And it wouldn't necessarily
My
be
character
time
idea, I'll
travel,
tell you
it would
about,
just be
totally fuck with us a bit.
it would be predestination is what they think is happening, but then our characters hearts and freedom and all that shit proves it wrong. All the good shit.
Hearts and freedom in America.
America.
I feel like with that, it's kind of
Regrets.
no, it's getting into Doctor Who territory, which is really fun because
Yeah, it was kind of
the Doctor definitely goes in and shit happens, but in the end, the timeline is still preserved.
Fixed points in the time versus ones that are flexible, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we decide that there are a couple fixed points that either we don't fuck with, or that if we fuck with, it is only to a level of tolerance, right?
Yeah.
Or something along those
We
lines.
can save the mycologue, but it still ends up destroyed.
I like that. I actually think that we should say that everything's fixed. And if someone gets to a point where they don't want it to be fixed anymore, we have a conversation again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Communication.
This is yes, right.
Huh?
Absolutely. This is our baby. It's all fixed. And then if something happens in the game and we're all like, oh my god, does this change stuff? We'll talk about it. We'll see, because who knows? I know you don't want to cut off whole whole branches of the bonsai tree, which is a great metaphor, but maybe we can have opportunities to sort of rewrite events, one single
We're just
event
pruning it.
that y'all are kind of in, and you can rewrite
Yeah,
it.
just don't murder them. Just
Yeah.
Just shape it and wire it.
Snip, snip.
Because
Um,
most of these are pretty vague, but there's some specificity that's having to adhere to it would be
Yeah.
sad.
And especially things that and then some things that chain other events down the line, right? So
Yeah.
if we're well, that never needed to happen, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I was also thinking of Cold War or after because I'm really excited about the appearance of the Gatherers,
Yeah.
and how that's
Oh, are
going
you
to
gonna make
function.
it gather?
I don't know.
You totally fucking are, aren't you? Calling you out. I've played with you long
we
enough,
can't all
Connor.
be gatherers. 'Cause
I wasn't gonna be a
But
gatherer.
can we?
we could if we wanted to.
None of my characters are the gatherers.
My character
They're
that
all
I'm
my
designing is definitely
One
not a
is a
gatherer,
sword.
but is still a librarian.
I'm gather-esque. You'll see.
Every day I'm gathering.
Every day I'm gathering.
So it sounds like we're kind of thinking about the Cold War. What do you guys think? Because you haven't really said what periods you were feeling yet.
Well, I liked the idea of starting with the Grand Mycologue just because it's right in the center, and I've been thinking it would be fun to start right in the center and have be able to go into the future and the past. But I'm thinking about the Cold War or some space I guess we have to choose a period. The magical golden age, starting at the top and then having nowhere to go but down. I like that for character tension. Starting with the golden age and
What about starting from the bottom now?
because otherwise getting to the golden age was just going to be boring. It's going to be the 50s, and we should start at the golden age where it seems great, where there's really
The end of the 50s.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, starting in the aftermath of that, you could still see that kind of fall. If we.
Well,
Yeah.
Right.
Getting to the fall would be fun.
And I think starting in the Cold War, that means the fall hasn't happened yet. It's just getting tense. Because like all that was still going on in the 50s and 60s, and people were like, "Oh yeah, everything's great." And then like we get to the 80s and 70s and 80s, and it's like, "Oh no, there's no."
Something feels weird.
Okay, so here's the interesting things of what both of you just said is that if we did start at the magical Cold War, that means that in fact the Golden Age has not just like exactly how you just said, it hasn't decreased, but the tension is still there. It is also the post Mycolog bombing, but the Mycolog has not died yet.
If we go right at the very beginning of the period. So Mycolog dies in the first event under that period.
Right.
Which
So
maybe we start before that, and then that thing is the thing that happens shortly afterwards.
I think
We
starting
can
with
talk
the
about that in a
magical
minute,
golden
we got
age could be kind of cool too if we started off more like classical adventuring, or just like a group of people trying to get some money, like fooling around, and then shit starts to go dark, and we're like, "Fuck, we need to save the world."
Because
or like,
we gotta start in the boring place, because getting to the boring place from any other point is gonna kind of suck. It's so I feel like we have to.
You're saying to use like the buildup of the Cold War as the rising action, and to start like when everything's like dandy and we're just like goofy adventurers, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
This is slightly jumping ahead maybe to our next like segment of like events, but I like this, especially if we like maybe we're at the end of the Golden Age period where we kind of start plus minus a few years, right? And like the bombing occurs, whether we're involved with it or not, or we hear it, and then shit starts to go. So we have that period of playing in the Golden Age, and then those same characters perhaps evolve through and into that.
Maybe
decline.
we even get asked to figure out who bombed the Mycolog because shit goes down. We get like hired or something. You know what I mean? If you wanted to like start with that, like where shit starts to go south. But.
So a little bit of like easy sword and sorcery, and then all of a sudden like, oh, now shit's going south,
and we think it's just like a typical job, and then we start, and it gets deeper and deeper, and then we find out all this terrible shit's going on, and the Mycelians being taken advantage of, and then the Cold War happens, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
did you just scene yourself?
No, I just calm myself
And
down.
scene.
I mean, it did look like that scene. I do like to calm myself down when I get too excited. Because I nerd out sometimes, and I can see people just like start doing that. Like, I mean, you guys weren't doing it to me because I feel like we're all nerding out right now. But like that, like glassed over.
I don't
Like
know.
I'm not listening anymore. So I have to be like, okay, stop talking. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, you don't have to
Drink more
worry
caffeine.
about that in this room.
More
Please
caffeine.
don't
More
worry about that.
caffeine.
Actually,
have one more of those.
Better living.
If I ever glaze off when you're saying something
Fisher
like
Cut.
that,
No, sorry,
Ashling,
no,
it's because
sorry. No,
I'm
no,
like, you've made me go off on some like tangent. It's not because I'm bored. It's like you've like sparked something, and I'm now going on.
It's not that I'm bored. I'm just not paying attention to you anymore.
Yeah. But it's
Paying
because you've
attention,
sparked
but
my
also, like-
interest, and I have ADD.
splitting.
Like the Tron motorbikes.
Squirrel.
Ashley was going one way, and Ashleen's talking, and then suddenly.
Yes. Interesting.
I'm gonna cut you off.
This would be such a bad room to open a
Bill?
book in.
No, do it. It doesn't
I can't do it. No.
Wait. Oh wait. Well, oh, we're.
I'm really good.
Oh.
I'm real good at this.
You're good at this.
Oh yeah.
I also
Of course
used to
you are.
get paid to do that, so
Oh.
Keep talking
It's
about
a
yourselves.
contest.
no, he's doing it properly.
I didn't bring any glasses. Can we just chug out of the
We,
bottle?
We've got
we
glasses.
have glasses behind the curtain.
I have Will's student mug that says I need MySpace.
Oh yeah. By the way, sort of mini sponsor, and that she's making us mugs. Laurel Anderson, who is a former student of mine.
What's her name?
Laurel
Aw.
Anderson.
Uh-huh.
You can find her at Instagram at just_an_artist99.
I don't have a fucking mug.
Well, she's making
Just.
more. She's making more.
Just
Do you
an
wanna have my
artist
nerd mug for
with
now?
underscores. 99.
Yeah,
Word.
just an artist 99.
Thank you, Laurel Anderson.
Oh yeah, I should point it
The
Thanks,
nerd
Laurel
space
Anderson.
thanks you.
I'll be up on that
I'll
one.
hold the one that you're maybe making next week.
Working on it. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. No pressure. No pressure. That wasn't.
now.
Okay, so we decided mostly that we were going to focus on the Golden Age meets Cold War. So my question is are we doing more one than the other?
I want your input.
Yeah. What are you feeling? I mean, I kind of
Part
went
of
on a
this process.
tangent,
Yeah,
but
you're
what kind
gonna
of
be the
story are
one-
you seeing?
Designing this adventure.
I know.
And you
I'm nervous about it. To be honest.
can plop down right in the middle.
Yeah, and you also can ask us for help, but we can't help you all the way because then we'll know stuff that that we can't.
I like knowing stuff.
I'm not good at being like a meta gamer though. Like
So-
I mean, not meta gaming. You know what I mean? Like
Would-
All right, we're leaving them out of the
Would you all be comfortable with me saying that we're going to start somewhere towards the end of the magical golden age and the beginning of the magical Cold War, but me not telling you specifically where we're starting?
Yeah,
yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I feel like that hits everyone's button. So.
Yeah. It's a sweet
My
spot. I
button
think.
been pushed.
You're a real flathead.
Can I tell you guys about one of the characters I wrote about?
No. So.
What?
No, I was kidding. Because it was funny to say. That was all. I love
Yeah,
you. Keep
no,
going.
you're fine. So
They
I'm
know.
thinking,
I'm good.
I'm
right
thinking
now. Thank you so much.
Murin Ovek, a half-orc man, right? He would be either a monk or a paladin, and he would be from a matriarchal society of orcs. They're peaceful people who live humbly in the forests of Kashar. The people were once called by the Massilian in times of war to protect them from the humans' greed, which we know. But we also know from the timeline we created that the humans' industry thrived, and eventually the Magic Golden Age came around, so the orcs failed.
Yeah, took advantage of the natives.
What?
Wait.
You heard me.
The orcs failed at.
Stopping the humans
Humans.
from taking advantage of the Mycelium through industry. Because that's what I wrote an event for that at one point.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
So their society failed the Mycelium and thus lived in penance until the day they are again chosen, is what they believe.
What do you mean by living in penance?
So they're living like humbly in the forest in like a peaceful matriarchal society, and they're living humbly as like a form of penance until they're chosen again by the Mycelium. They still have like a small connection to the Mycelium, but it's not what it once was, and they believe that through like contrition and penance that one day they will again be chosen by the Mycelium. Because they failed them, so they are trying to absolve themselves, right? And so from a young age, Murin has felt that the elder women's approach was too passive, and while he has the utmost respect for his leaders, he believes that his people may prove their worth to the Mycelium to regain their now depleted connection. So with the blessing of his people, he sets off to replenish his homeland. And so he believes that he can like go forth into the land and prove to the Mycelium that his people are still worthy of the connection that they
And
once
this is
had.
without the blessing of your matriarch.
No, with the blessing. They gave him his blessing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because they believe that people can choose their own path in their society. They're a peaceful society, but they're going to keep doing their penance way, and they're allowing him to go off and try his way in the world. And he is kind of shunned a little bit in his society because he's half orc, and there's kind of like a bad tension between humans. But I haven't fully fleshed out why his parents were together or anything like that.
I'm interested on whether
How dare you not?
whether or
have
not
parents
you
right
should
now.
or shouldn't flesh that out.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to like his motivation and like the society he came from. That's what I was aiming for.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I figured I'd give him an Outlander background because it makes sense. And there's this really cool thing that you can do for half orcs instead of like doing all the orc traits that are like really like gruff, like menacing and relentless endurance and savage attacks and stuff like that. It's called Mark of Finding, and you get this thing that's called Hunter's Intuition.
Where's this coming from? Where's Mark of Finding coming from?
Oh, I looked it up in I just was looking it up on Dungeons and Dragons Beyond because I couldn't find anything about half orc. Like,
That might be a Eberron thing.
oh, okay.
And I don't have a. Do I have?
I just thought this would
Well,
make more
if it's
sense because
not-
it's like a version of orcs that are just half orcs that are more in tune with nature. So it doesn't have anything to do with like it just takes away their like normal traits and gives them like a little bit different traits.
So
like racial traits.
we'll talk about switching that up
Yeah, totally.
and making that a little bit more a part of your background.
Yeah.
At a later date. But I like where you're going with it.
Yeah, totally.
I probably at this point I would say like Eberron stuff's off the table, but it probably wasn't listed as Eberron stuff.
I
Considering
just
that
looked
was
up
up-
like 5th edition and that was like the half
Right.
orc info.
I know D&D Beyond I think they like integrate everything in and
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's organized. I haven't really looked at it. I'm kind
totally.
of a Luddite in that regard, and I haven't really like delved into that. So.
But yeah, that's one of the characters I created, and I think he's really interesting because he can be put like anywhere past the Demon War or like kind of after
Basically from
around
where
where we're
came
going.
around.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you were envisioning either a monk or a paladin?
Yeah.
So by the time everyone shares a little bit about what character they're choosing, I'd like you to choose that.
No, yeah, totally. I just kind of wanted to leave it more open because I didn't want to rigidly pick one until everybody else like said what
Totally
they were
fair.
doing.
Totally
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
And so I was kind of going for the 2 more religious classes because I see them as kind of like a religious type people living in the woods, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, very devout, very
they believe the mycelium is kind of like their savior, and they want to like get in its good graces again, you know. So like,
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So we're not allowed to change up our characters after talking about them today.
Can we talk just as a review? I don't know if I missed it or if I'm just forgetting, but like orcs, do we know why the mycelium, like they didn't necessarily abandon them? Maybe they were just co-opted by the humans, and like they didn't have.
We have no
I don't know what you're
information on
asking me. I'm just confused. I'm sorry.
I mean, I only see 1 square.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we get
all
to
we
create
wrote
a lot.
about. I just created more.
So I'm
with
just gonna read that.
Yeah, read it.
The mycelium recognizes the direction the humans are taking with industry. This is weird grammar.
Yeah,
with
it's
industry,
my
will, that the direction humans are taking with industry will cause them great harm. As a result, they reach out to the orcs for help, thwarting the technological exploration of their energy. This created racial. Exploitation.
Exploitation.
Sorry, it's very fuzzy.
Thwarting the
It's
technological.
my computer's fine. This created racial bias between them, monstrifying. Is that
Yes,
monstrifying the orcs to humans, and that's all we have about orcs.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
That humans think that they're monsters because of the mycelium asking them to fight against them. And
So
that-
from the humans' perspective, the orcs just came at them, and they didn't know why.
exactly. So they were just
Monsters,
like, these are
obviously.
evil, weird-looking monsters from the hills or whatever, wherever they came from.
I've heard that the hills
Have eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just eyes, personal holes.
So
It's kinda
could
fascinating.
have some like if since the mycelium is reaching out for help when the mycolog gets formed as well. So and with the 6 of them, the terrorists and the humans getting blamed, could be some orc stuff.
That's kind of what I'm seeing. Like, if
Really
he's trying to
cool.
prove himself and he knows this is happening, then
Yeah.
he's probably going to be the type of person who's going to want to jump in and help with that because
Yeah.
he'll see it as a way to prove himself to the mycelium,
Right.
right? So, like, that's like character motivation.
And we don't have a backstory for orcs in general. We don't like how they're formed.
Well, a
We're
little
working
bit
on it.
now.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's
what we got to do
that's
here
fun.
at this point.
We know what they're at this point, but we don't know what they were before they were this penance-driven society yet. That hasn't been written.
That's
So,
fun.
Very childlike.
Halflings are hobbits. No, I know what halflings are, but the
combination of
with
elves and dwarves.
elves and dwarves. Okay.
I really like
You
that.
just looked at me like,
Can I
I
just say
know
one
that.
thing? I really like that because there's like stout. There's stout halflings,
That-
right? And there's lightfoot halflings.
That is
And so, like,
exactly what I was
stout
thinking.
halflings, I feel like are already more dwarf-like anyway, and lightfoot halflings are more like impish and like quick and small, and like I feel like more fairy-like. So that makes them kind of more elvish in my mind. And so like I feel like that's really cool that like those
You've got
kind of
both
already
these-
fit.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
But
That
aren't
is
halflings
exactly-
actually smaller than dwarves already? So
they're like similar in size. It
No,
depends.
no. Halflings and dwarves?
Yeah, aren't they
No,
around
no.
the same
Halflings
height?
are much shorter.
yeah.
So they're like gnome size.
They are gnome size.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
So
closer
is
to
that
gnomes.
going
But
to
they're
be
not, like,
true for them now? Or are they going to be like because if you have like a
You can have a
combination
tall
of
one
those
if
Hey,
things.
you know
Fine.
what? You create a halfling. You tell me exactly like how tall you are. They just can't be at quite as tall as dwarves because dwarves are technically medium creatures, where halflings and gnomes are smaller creatures. They're small creatures.
Well, but if we're creating our own, fine, halfling, we can go with stats and stuff, but if you're going with something that's taller than a dwarf, don't you want to have something that's somewhere in between?
What if elves have some weird genetic thing that combines with dwarves' weird genetic thing that just produces really tiny
They both have
babies?
the dwarfism
Okay, all right.
genetic trait.
All right.
Yeah.
you
Or
can't
you can
account
also
for
think
magic.
if we're going this far down the
So
line.
halflings are on average 3 feet tall and weigh about 40 pounds.
Yeah.
If we're going this far down the timeline too, like halflings have become their own race at this point. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's not like they're still
Everyone
just
comes
like
from an alpha dwarf
mules.
bucket.
They're just
Yeah.
like their own thing at this point. Like they've just kept continuing.
That's
so their
also
their
what I
genetic
imagine.
variation would change over time.
Mhm.
You know, and
Yeah.
eventually they would just be these small, and they have like a little bit more dwarfish ones and a little bit more elvish ones.
You could have a lot, yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
I almost imagine too that in the timeline that's closer to like the elves and the dwarves actually like sharing knowledge and that kind of thing. I imagine that the first offspring that took the form of something like a halfling were almost seen as like oh god, What the fuck have we just
Fucking
given
sure.
birth to? Like a deformed abomination.
Or like maybe
mine
there's
is.
a reaction of
You gotta
that, but since they're
Go, go,
trying
go,
to merge and save and not save face almost, like they're not gonna. There could be a dichotomy of like they want
They're
to
the
have
next
this
generation.
merger, and there's like a sort of an immediate, sort of a visceral like
That first
repulsion.
reaction.
But that you can't like openly say that, and there's a sort of
But
veneration
behind
of them.
but behind closed doors, there was
Yeah, I
definitely
can
a
see that, yeah.
name for them that was unsavory, and
I like it. I mean, because elves and dwarves are going to be. I imagine they're going to be the somewhat elite in this period that we are starting in, right?
Mhm.
And humans are maybe going to be kind of like lower.
I don't know. It's golden
Well, I
age.
mean, the way
so
we're doing
I'm
it is we're
playing a
kind of
human.
making like 3 main races: the elves, the dwarves, and
Outside
the
of
gnomes,
races,
and everything
personally.
else that we've created is like a bi-race of
Thinking
that. I guess the
human,
orcs
frankly.
would be
Human
too.
barbarian.
Yeah.
But like half
human,
orcs, and we
definitely
have
human.
humans. They came
Human
from
barbarian.
elves, and then we have halflings that came from
Human
elves and
barbarian
dwarves, and then
librarian.
half elves would be.
it sounds like the main pushers or the main movers and shakers of the
That works
entire
a lot.
timeline would generally be
Like Barbie?
dwarves,
No.
elves,
Barbarian.
and humans.
Yeah.
Those are
Unless we cut someone else
the
sometime.
3 main.
Well, I like with the most like overt power, but I really like this orc thread coming through.
Oh
and
no
the
no no!
gnomes,
I'm
yeah.
talking specifically overt power, like the
Yeah.
ones that really
Yeah, the
took.
orcs have no power. They don't have any like.
Well, what? No, power over. Because these are just like power over versus like I like the idea of them having power that weaves its way through the rest of it, but like power to oppress other people, basically.
Yeah.
Sure.
Humans? What?
Industry? What?
Something I want you to think about since you're diving into orcs. So you talk about like your tribes and things that are like peaceful in the woods and stuff like that. I want you to think about what the humans did to the other tribes that perhaps were closer to human civilization.
I've kind of seen that, like, in my mind, I kind of see that, like, they lost, and I figured,
Who's
like,
they?
the orcs. The
Thank
orcs
you.
lost,
Yep.
and I feel like the orcs got wiped kind of pretty far out. Like, they're not completely extinct, but there's only, like, a few tribes left, and they're pretty
So you're
scattered.
thinking a level of
Americans.
like
What?
Like Native
extermination.
Americans, basically.
Oh, I didn't mean to make that correlation, but yeah, I guess so.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what
That's
I was
what
thinking
I've
about.
been-
Like,
since
well,
you
it's
started
like,
talking
were
about this,
you guys
yeah.
Or
pushed
you
to
could-
reservations?
Yeah.
Were you like killed and exterminated? Were you put in camps? Like,
Well,
I'm
and-
curious about how the humans treated you.
And or
Not that we have to
Aborigines
answer
in
right now.
Australia, like that's another
Yeah.
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not saying we have to answer this right now, but I want to think
I
about
kind of was
exploring
thinking
that.
that. Like, they were, like, basically, they lost, and they got their lands taken from them. They were, like, pushed out, and now they're kind of just living, like, on the fringes of society, and they have, like, these very humble, like, devout, like, lives.
They've accepted the fact that they're not on top of the food chain
Yeah.
anymore, but they're happy about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
They're not happy about it.
they're happy.
honestly, like-
they're happy for it.
As a cis white human in this, I like to believe
I had a
they're
really
very
interesting idea too that like
Well-
the chieftains that were in charge wouldn't give up on the
Here's
war,
that joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that
The
their
joke. The
wives
joke.
slaughtered them in their sleep and took over,
Yeah.
and that's how the matriarchal society was started. And from there it became
Ooh.
peaceful because they saw that their people were going to become completely extinct if they didn't do something about it. So they took matters into their own hands
Yeah.
and they took the society from the.
But they're
from
still
the
trying
chieftains.
to recreate the connection.
Yeah,
So they-
definitely.
like-
They're trying to they're basically trying to gain penance for failing, and they're trying probably gain penance for having committed
oh my
the
God,
act that
I have
they
this,
did.
like beautiful idea of like the reconnection where like the mycelian like
Right,
not
the one
forgive
shot.
not for like you never failed like like we were stolen like it wasn't you and like this like beautiful
The humans,
like,
the humans separated us like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't mean like happy for it. I meant like they gained a semblance of peace around it. You know, they sort of accepting what is kind of thing.
yeah,
Acceptance,
they're not
yeah.
happy, but
Yeah.
they know where they're at, and
Yeah.
they're trying to
Namaste.
to
they're
figure out
not
their-
like they're not like the IRA where they're like they're
No. they're not
well,
militant.
Guerrilla.
I mean, there might
I
be
mean,
some.
Michael,
There could be a faction.
yeah.
There might be
I don't
faction.
know.
There's definitely
Yeah.
faction.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
But inherently, I feel like the few tribes that are left are inherently peaceful, but there could be outliers in that.
Okay.
That's
Always,
totally.
always
There's always outliers.
So let me
I mean,
move,
even my character is technically an outlier, right? Like. I don't
so
even
let me
know
move
about
on to someone else who wants to talk about
Sorry.
their character. No. We asked, and this is
Yeah.
all really interesting, but I also want to keep it
But
moving.
also, shut the fuck up.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
Jeez, no.
I can go in the line because I'm like I feel like a middle of the
Yeah.
road preparation in terms of my character as opposed to like
Drink.
the way I put it as opposed to the novella that Ashley provided. I have a haiku or two that I could talk about in terms of my character.
It's a page
Yeah.
in a composition book.
Jesus.
God damn it! Sorry.
Double fist.
At first I was embarrassed by this, and now I'm kind of happy about it.
We were rewatching it.
I'm glad.
We were
I'm glad
first,
you're
the
happy.
very first time you're like, you'll just start editing those out, right? And we're like, we're gonna turn it into a drinking game.
The result
Now you're
is quite joyous.
You're accepted.
We turned you into a drinking game.
We have
I'm
drunk
fine.
viewers all over
Fine
the
with
place. Squeak more.
I know.
So
If
I'm
our-
playing around with that idea, and I have nothing compared to like backstory or names or anything like that. Welcome to different character styles and player styles.
That's totally fine.
But I personally like my creative process is like I wanted to know more of where, like when, where, like pieces. Like I didn't even know the race of my character until we were just talking now, so it was gonna be human. But I had this character that could float anywhere throughout time, and I'm really kind of excited about it. So it is going to be a wizard, which I have not played for a really long time, because I kind of feel like a wizard lends a lot towards my personality in terms of like the scientist element to it, especially with now we're in the golden age. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking playing a wizard.
Yeah.
But I want to play a weird wizard that Bill and I have talked about a bunch of times. I really want to get into a divination specialty wizard.
Cool.
Yeah, there's some weird shit that can happen
Okay,
there.
wait. Let's explain why that's so cool
I am.
and weird. Okay.
So specifically, so you know what divination is. For those viewers who don't.
Yeah, I don't know if I do. I mean, like,
right, those are the ones that
connection
like, you know, are like looking into the future, looking into the past, looking like scrying at a distance. Those are the ones that, like the one with the crystal ball, right? Like those
Yeah,
are divination, like learning things out about it. So
that seems kind of ironic if you're moving back and forwards in time. Can you affect time?
I don't know. We'll find out. Depends on what Bill and I think about. So thank you.
It's a wizard specific one.
Bam. So why I think this is interesting is one from from a meta level of the game. I think this character could be a really interesting way for us to access the past, the present, the future, think through that. But I'm imagining this character accessing his divination through taking mushrooms, basically. Like I'm almost imagining a little bit of a Radagast kind of character, maybe not that fucking crazy Radagasty.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god, I
Mycelium
like.
madness.
I love the idea of like because
Also
psychedelics were like
tempting
the
the madness,
50s. We're
right?
talking about 50s and 60s. That's
exactly
when
what I
psychedelics
was
were coming
thinking.
in.
Breaking out of
Like,
that. This is why I was
This
really
is
excited
cool.
about
I
that
like
with
this.
the Golden Age.
You're
I'm
gonna
like,
be like a Tim Leary.
yeah. He's taking acid. He's taking shrooms.
Dude, are you gonna like get a group of people to look at the sun and go blind?
No. Way better than that. First off, I'm gonna cast a spell. It's pretty fine.
Yeah.
But like, you know, so I'm also imagining him a little bit like a philosophical like gnomic kind of way. Like he says some things that just sound logical. Like, oh well, the woodpecker must arrive early to get the best worm. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean right now? Or I'm making up shit as I go. But like, so some of his prophecies, philosophies, things are going to be a little bit weird and not necessarily make sense. I want to work with Bill and kind of figure out ways to connect this and bring this back into the game.
This reminded me of Harry Dean
But-
Stanton. Who I
but
was
I-
friends with, if nobody knows who that is.
No idea.
Harry Dean
Cool.
Stanton.
Well, that's cool. Does he have an Instagram?
I know
He's
him.
dead.
How do I know?
Does he have an
who that
Instagram?
is? Probably does.
I don't remember who that is, but I know the name very well.
You all know who he is.
Probably.
Should I Google it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just
Harry
tell
Dean
me.
Stanton.
Motherfucker talked in riddles. Go ahead.
So that kind of character, like, I want this to be an access for us to explore the past, like, for me, like, and this is also, since we're talking about the mushrooms having a non-linear presence in time, right, why this is the level of divination, right, is like taking those mushrooms, accessing the pathways of the dead, all these different pieces, being possibly connection to the gatherer. I've been feeling that a lot.
Okay, so, like, in terms of agency, like,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. You're
In terms of
buddies and stuff?
agency, like
Sounds good.
like being able to influence, I could see like getting your capacity by going back and forth, but having like being able to change things. I mean,
Can
you
I ask
can
you a
change.
question?
I'm not willing to say I have that power right now, but who knows?
Why
Yeah.
did you choose a wizard in a time when wizards are kind of being slightly free? This is like a serious question. Like, why did you pick a wizard in a period where wizards are slightly being forsaken by the Mycelium? Because we have that whole schism happening because of the Mycolog. I'm just curious.
I've got this character, like, the idea that I figure you show up at any location, and I find this really intriguing.
Okay.
I don't see this character, especially because of the, like, Timothy Leary, like, kind of feel, like, necessarily having to be along the mainstream of the other wizards.
So he, like, wasn't part of the Mycolog.
Yeah, or, like, was, but definitely not the grand Mycolog. Like, maybe, I'm guessing he probably has connections, as they all do in some ways. But, like, you know, is doing this while I'm experimenting with drugs. I'm experimenting with mushrooms. This is how, like, I've learned to cast through a different way. Perhaps a more direct route to the Mycelium than what other wizards have been doing. And I'm not saying by any means that he's, approaching it from a benevolent perspective, perhaps. Like, maybe learns their, I don't know, character progression. We'll see how it goes. But I like that, like, playing with the divination element, because this is something that I don't do a lot in almost any of my characters. So I'm kind of intrigued to do that from a narrative perspective with our game and see what that connects to and what that accesses and what it's like to play with the nonlinear shrooms and play with the pathways to the dead. Also, magic is cool.
I have a question about human wizards. Seeing as, like, up until this point, maybe it's like a timeline not being familiar enough with a thing. Like, humans being able to be wizards, like, considering their not close relationship or otherizing, like, using relationship in the past, like, how is that gonna work? Like,
well, I never see. I don't. This is my personal opinion of it. I never have seen that all humans were doing that, because it would be impossible for all humans to be doing that. I mean, think about, like, the way our country is right now and how there's a lot of fucked up shit happening, but nobody at this table agrees with that, and nobody is helping any of that move forward. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you would it would be one of the humans that wasn't using.
You'd be
that,
like a liberal, you know, like.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with, like...
Or, you know, like an eco...
But
like
even within the Mycolog, the relationship, like, even the ones who supposedly are ethical, are that that relationship is turning sour.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, like, totally pervasive.
It's, like what you said, I can't remember what episode, but in the episodes that I watched recently, you were saying, let's not forget that you can't pigeonhole a certain people or a certain race as seekers, stumblers, or chosen. Like, there's all of that gamut, like, within every race. Like, like just like, and I really liked that because it reminded us, like, oh, you know, orcs aren't naturally this, or dwarves aren't, you know, it's like
# not all elves.
Exactly. So, but you know, it's just like real life. It's like you've got people.
Orc lives matter. Yeah. Sorry.
#political.
Yeah, no.
So that's what. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a background in mind for? And you said it was a human diviner, right?
Yes.
Because I thought when you were
Is
in
his
the
name
beginning,
Will?
you said a gnome diviner, but that's that. Did you?
No, gnome's never anything that really.
Yeah. So human
Well, you
diviner.
were talking about gnomes somewhere in the middle of it, and that I was kind of confused for a second too. But I don't know if you just misspoke, and you meant humans. Right?
Like
You did say something.
I mentioned gnomes about a thing, but not in that I wanted to do.
Okay,
But then again,
okay.
you can always go back to the footage and check it out.
Fact check us, please, Fisher.
Yeah. He's
kidding.
already back to check.
Cheers.
Do we have the cheers every time? Or drink.
Huzzah!
Hello.
Oh, drink your caffeine.
You have to say it like from the belly.
Oh, this mug
You
is
have
so
to always
smooth
say
on my
something
lips.
from the belly.
Yeah.
That is. Yep.
Such a good glaze.
Love it.
Accurate.
Love it.
Oh,
So
thank you,
do
Laurel.
Yeah, Laurel.
Library book.
I honestly haven't thought a ton about it, but I'm kind of digging something that is a little more counterculture, like charlatan or a criminal as a little bit of the background, like hence the, I'm just, kind
like
of
charlatan.
doing drugs, and maybe that's how I started accessing
Oh my God,
the
you're like
magic,
the
right?
dude.
Like, I'm doing the magic mushrooms, and like, I suddenly started doing magic, and be like, I should probably go to school for that, man. And like, it's not like embracing the
Suddenly you're
super
an
hippie
authority
kind
on
of
it.
thing, but like, yeah, it's something like, I guess I'm like really good at this. Maybe I did too many early on, but like, it kind of just comes to me, and like, all
Well,
right, let's start
it's
doing
like
this thing.
Naturally chosen.
it's like in the
Or a secret.
I
I'm
know
definitely
not
a stumbler.
I know not everyone is a fan, but
Excuse me.
the
Okay,
new
you went through
Envision
when you
Star
did
Trek
that.
by J.J. Abrams,
It
like
was
the
good.
like the
It was
first
great.
Okay.
episode is like Kirk was definitely like not on the up and up. He caused a lot of problems and a lot of shit, and then through a conversation with
Pike.
Pike. Like I think his father, one of his father's friends or whatever. He said he convinces him. He's like, it's really in your best interest to follow in your father's footsteps, even though if you don't feel like if it's a right fit. It's like it's the right fit. Trust me, I've seen it. Yeah.
Goddamn hippie.
Yeah, but it could be almost something like that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of bullet points, kind of like our timeline. But I really for me, I've just been playing around with the idea of the divination, playing with the shrooms, doing the essentially a time travel element. I'm not really convinced on altering the timeline, but following the pathways of the mycelium madness, following the pathways of the dead, following connecting back to these things. That could be a really interesting hook for us on a
oh my god,
a
you're just
cinematic
doing
level.
drugs and making people go crazy.
Yeah, and then casting fireballs. It's gonna be fine. What could go wrong? I see a lot of really interesting vignettes and things to play with it, and I'm really digging this character. And then having access a little bit to the magic as technology element of the Golden Age, being oh yeah, no, that's just this thing, guys. Anyway, do you want some drugs? Take some mushrooms. And maybe he doesn't always view it as drugs. I don't know, but he's taking it. So he has some interesting ideas. I think it'd be kind of fun. He wants to use mushrooms as spell components and things like that, or whatever fungus, and feel connected to. So maybe a multi-class at some point. I don't know, but I feel really intrigued by this character. Just to explore this wizard with a deep connection to the mushrooms that is perhaps counterculture, a la hippie, not Dennis Leary, also Dennis Leary, but a little counterculture to a little bit. Counterculture to the other wizards of the age, right? He's finding his own level of study.
Well, I want to play a human barbarian that got kicked out of. So this human barbarian really interested in learning and working in the libraries and mycologs and but anger problems, got kicked out.
What anger problems?
Angry.
Barbarians.
Yeah.
And we won't like it when you're angry, will we?
No.
The secret is
do you shush
they're
yourself?
always angry.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I'm trying to decide
Like a super
between
apologetic
either
angry.
What's your race
path-
again?
human. With a sage background, and I'm trying to decide between the path of the zealot or the path of the ancestral guardians, because we've turned the mycolog into this library of the past. So I was ooh, either one would work. But this barbarian is also his name's Ferg.
Yes.
Ferg?
Alicious.
Fired.
Fergalicious. No.
Last name, Alicious, obviously.
Last name
Definitious.
is I wrote it down on the thing. It's
Where is it? Oh, shit.
I have it right here,
Now
too.
it's be Tim, right?
Logical Michael.
It might be Tim. It might be Tim.
Where is the?
Dude, I wrote that
here it
on
is.
my clipboard.
Ferg Elfergel.
Yes.
Is this barbarian's name?
Elfergel?
Elfergel.
That's beautiful.
Is your character gonna be Logical Michael?
No.
But not Michael Logical?
No. Too
Damn it.
obvious. Too
Oh,
obvious.
it's not.
But yeah, I want this barbarian to get really upset at people who are denigrating the libraries and refusing education and basically refuting science. In this case, magic. And just rages out at them and is instead of beating knowledge into their heads, ends up just beating them to
Oh shit.
yeah.
Why won't you learn? Oh, he's dead.
Anger problems. I wanted to design a flail that was a passel of books on a
Late fees, bitch.
yeah on a strap. So very much nerdy librarian and
Nerdy librarian.
short, 5'6", 5'7",
It's not that short.
shortish.
That's how tall I am.
That's shortish for
Mm.
a man. Depending on the race.
And maybe not overly muscled, but definitely rage muscle.
Yeah.
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 So
Like
Yeah.
if not ripped, you're like wire.
Like, let me
wire.
leaf, let me leaf
Yeah.
through these pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Um.
what is that? Brad Pitt's pikey character in Snatch.
Yeah.
The wiry.
And definitely like with this age background going more towards the researcher, like
Cool.
grew up in libraries and like just reading and like all of these things and
What kind of barbarian are you thinking?
Well, he was saying that
either zealot or
Okay, I missed that part.
I think Path of Ancestral Guardian fits more within our world
Mhm.
rather than zealot.
So, what would you imagine, or do you want me to come up with this? What would you imagine your ancestral guardian to be?
I hadn't gotten that far
Okay,
yet.
that's you don't have to get that far. I'm curious though.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing.
And it might be like the entirety of like
Not
the human memories that are logged into the mycelium.
Xanathars.
Okay,
Xanathars?
Yeah, zealots and
Why did I
Xanathars.
not bring my Xanathars?
it doesn't matter.
We have two.
We got two.
I borrowed one from the library, so I would have one.
Ah, library! I don't know. Seems really appropriate.
Continuity.
I spend a lot of time at the library,
I
which
love
is why I
that.
want to do this.
So you rage out of the libraries.
Yeah.
Just flip
Are
a
you
card.
gonna let your favorite librarian know?
I don't have a favorite librarian anymore. Like
Oh,
there's not a whole
Right.
lot of content. No, just there's not a whole lot of contact between librarians and patrons anymore, unless you're like needing help, and I kind of know how to use libraries, so I don't really need a whole lot of help.
Dewey Decimal or Google. Whatever
Library of
is
Congress too.
That.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. So yeah, Ferg.
Okay,
We're gonna hang out with Ferg.
got it.
Ferg is also gonna be
Ferg.
really tattooed.
We have a human barbarian named Ferg. We have a human diviner.
Named Tim.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's
Yeah.
canon
Yeah.
what's happening. Tim.
Tim.
There's so many good levels. There's Timothy. There's I mean
All right,
he,
all
he
right.
might have a
Timothy.
longer, more arcane name that
Timothy.
is yet to be announced. But ultimately
Timothy.
they call me Tim.
Timoteo.
Ultimately they call me Tim.
Timony.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
No.
We have
Yeah.
an orc or
Tell
half
me what to
orc, either monk or paladin.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking a ranger. I
You
don't know.
shut your fucking mouth.
I can't
I was-
decide.
I was
I'm
thinking-
going
You can't choose
Oh,
three.
I like
ranger?
the
Okay.
I like
You can be a ranger
the
too.
like palette like that.
I was thinking Paladin fits your character more.
Yeah.
Peer
I was-
pressure.
Paladins seem like
Peer
weird.
pressure.
I don't know.
Why?
I liked the idea
I was
of
looking
monk.
at this stuff right now. I'm gonna read the monk right now.
There's
Anyway,
some
someone else talk
cool-
about your character.
There's some cool
Uh,
paladin things. Look at the
Shanna or Ashley?
look at the Xanathars for paladin.
I've got
types. Go
mine.
Check that shit out.
You go ahead. So, elf.
Mhm.
And this elf carries a very, very way back recessive gene from our timeline.
Mm-hmm. Can I read it?
Do you have it up?
I do. The elves
From the
first
period,
attempted.
from the first period.
Yep, first period. The elves first attempted to bond with the griffins. It did not go as planned, moving the elves into their relationship with the dwarves. A small contingent of elves insisted on forcing the bond with the mycelium. This this forced bond deformed these elves into a horrible embarrassment of the subrace.
Rude.
So,
Are you?
yes.
So you're playing a drow?
No.
No.
I actually
yet.
kind of like think of this elf as a high elf carrying like that recessive gene that is sort of akin to being like the dog-faced man or something. You know, like someone like just like someone that, or like a conjoined twin or something. Like you don't see it very often.
But when you do, you cannot stop staring.
You can't unsee it.
Yep.
And it's also sort of like, it's also tied to this kind of embarrassing failed attempt way back in history. So it's like, I kind of see my character as this like high elf that is, that has like fled and been estranged and is a ranger kind of because of this.
Yeah.
This recessive gene, which is,
Do you want to reveal it, or you want to keep it secret?
I don't know. Should I keep it secret?
I'm asking you. It's up to you.
What's a better story?
Um,
I mean, I think
If you-
everybody wants to know what it is.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
How does your
but-
character
but that
feel
would
about
be-
it?
so-
Would your character
hold
want
on-
our characters?
Hold on a second. That would be the reason, one of the reasons to
I'm gonna keep
withhold.
it secret.
Okay.
So,
For a higher level on our Patreon.
the way my character feels about it, because Bill and I, this spawned from a conversation Bill and I had the other night.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to use it. But the way my character feels about it is, they're not particularly proud of it, but they see its value. And they've like worked through their, they've already called it a loss. Like they know they're not gonna like fit in conventional ways. So I mean that's why they're very invested in who they are as a ranger and who they are as like an independent person, roving the land. So it's like that's how they feel about it. It's like they will use the benefits of this at moments that are necessary, but they're not going to show it off by any means.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, and then their background is a guild artisan, and the way that they relate that to their rangering is they essentially find like I don't quite know how this works out, and I'm really excited to spend some time thinking about it, but essentially like they find the good shit from the mycelium. So like they could be in essence like Tim's dealer.
Oh.
So like they know how and where
Give me that good stuff.
to find like the most
Potent shit.
magics of mushrooms and how to and this is like we've been with the mycelium for so long that there is an art to preparing and to like identifying and to bringing yourself to that place as a forager.
Yeah.
And it is an artisan. It is definitely
Right,
an
like-
art at this
Can-
point.
Like
I-
harvesting at the right time, packing
Yes,
in salt.
yes.
I'm sorry.
Like, oh,
Just
only
doing
at the
whatever
full
they-
moon can
yeah,
this mushroom
exactly.
be found. And
I need to quote Rick and Morty right now. Morty, science is more art than science.
Right? And
Fucking
so
great.
I
You
mean,
just shove this real
that's-
deep up
just-
there.
but that's the kind of artisan they are. So like I imagine like they do have a shop in a city. They do have they probably have employees. If not like a thug, like keeping watch. And they mostly act as a ranger though. Like they're out in the field
Keeping the
with
shop
their finger on the
supplied.
pulse, and like maybe it's not without danger, I'm really excited to like decide, like to help build the world in that way, to like see these auxiliary effects of the mycelium that like
Yeah.
are there for the harvesting. Like what's the fruit of the mycelium that like other people interact in different ways, the mycolog, whatever, but like there's definitely this
Fruiting bodies too.
fruiting body situation, and that's what this ranger is all about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So my thought is like a really young, like either like I don't know how age goes for halflings, but I'm thinking somewhere between like adolescence and like teenagehood.
They're very near humans.
They are age-wise?
Near-ish, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're maybe a little bit older. They wind up being a little bit older.
Well, that's if we're making them the combination of dwarves and elves, there has to be a change in their like kind of timeline, right? Regardless, I guess wherever they fall within their lifespan.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
an adolescent to teenage, kind of like a 50s, like you know, hunky dory, like who's wide-eyed, kind of like who like gets magic through this very standardized like 50s. We get our magic through the conveyor belt and the like the way that it's fed to them, but ends up finding this kind of wild like source and connection with it in them. It
Halfling wild
kind of
mage?
that his parents are maybe a little embarrassed of. Like this you gotta tamp this down, and like this is embarrassing. Don't do this to us right now.
It's a spunky little bugger.
But can
Yeah.
you?
What?
Can you tamp that down?
No, can't. That's why you guys leave and join these motherfuckers.
Really
Give her
bringing
let
that
up.
feel.
So like a little like la, and ending up being
Sparks!
a sorcerer. Like Sparks,
Yeah.
like Sparky. I like the idea
I'm
of
super
Sparky.
into this.
There's
like-
a
and a
wild
connection, and I'm
sorcerer
like trying to
sounds
find a
awesome.
connect, like because we've got a lot of like kind of
Can we
we've got
call
like
you
a
Sparky?
wild card. I kind of like Sparky.
Yeah.
I like
So-
that too.
Yeah.
Gives my idea.
At least
Sparky.
just nickname wise,
Yeah.
like we all call you Sparky.
Sparky, I like it. And like
Hashtag
kind of
Mark
the
Jungle.
like the pure of heart connection
Oh.
to your character. What was my like you kind of have like maybe I can like quell you or calm you, like stand in front of like you're gonna fucking go crazy. I'm like, wait a minute. And like you like this kind of like innocent like and like kind of pulling on your heart. So you two seem kind of like a little bit like shady characters.
Tim's gonna try to get you to do drugs, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Where
like,
you're
you
like-
don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah, and where
But I
you're
have good
like
shit.
you still want to
If you wanted it,
Yeah.
Do what you want to do, but it's real high
But
quality.
like
I'm
you're
gonna-
gonna get me to do it, and it's like
Spores
and
in
like
your face.
and you're gonna make sure I don't
I'm
like
gonna
you're
do
gonna
a
make sure I
line.
don't have a
I'm
bad
totally doing a
time,
line of
and
spores
you're
at
gonna
some
like
point.
hold the fort while I have
Yeah.
my like
Yeah.
mind expanding. So
Do you
like
hear that?
I'm like, does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
We get
I would
to-
totally babysit Sparky.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or rough her.
Guys,
This isn't about you.
I have a second character, and I kind of like them both, but I don't know if I should tell you guys about it or if I should.
Oh, it's a
just go
second
with my-
page. It's a full-on second
Did
page.
you just sigh audibly?
Dude, this
I
is
did.
Ashleen.
Have you
They don't
not
fuck
met
around.
me? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Who? What is it about?
Can I tell you it really quick?
Yeah, why
And
not?
I just want your guys' opinion which character you think would be more fun to play with, if that makes any sense.
In terms of the dynamics of the group, or in terms of where we pick the
The dynamics of the
timeline?
group and the timeline.
Okay.
Because I like them both.
Go
I'm
for it.
having fun just listening
Alright.
to what comes out of your brain. So
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
this would be a female dwarf named Fennel Ravenspear. She would be either a druid or a sorcerer in my mind. Chaotic good, and I see her as kind of like a little bit half mad, but I know you were kind of going there, so she doesn't necessarily have to be like that. But let me tell you why she's half mad.
We're all crazy.
So she was once an esteemed
I don't know why.
sergeant of a wing for a wing of flyers in Her Majesty Lilyhammer's Sky Armada, and
this is already like way beyond that timeline, though.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Dwarves
true.
live for
No,
a
but
long
this,
time, though.
but
Yeah, but not that long.
but just
Really?
wait until you hear what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Now a servant who's given themselves over to the Mycelian in order to achieve one goal: revenge. During the Great War, just when it seemed the dwarves and their griffin counterparts were starting to push the demon scourge back, Fennel's world was upended. She unknowingly led her wing into a trap laid by the demon lord Vraxis. She was forced to watch as her entire family of friends was slaughtered and then left half dead herself to pass on the message to the dwarves that the demon lords could never truly be beaten. She now lives on eternally if she must, through the Mycelian to achieve one goal: get to Vraxis and end him before he comes back, or be there for him when if he does come back to finish him. And she has free will, but if the Mycelian call on her for aid, she can't deny them, or the deal she has made with them is broken.
Oh.
So she would have like, honestly, the GM could fuck with her if he wanted to, because she's kind of like got this like deal with the Mycelian, right? But that's
She's so specific that she comes off to me as like an NPC.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, she
Because-
could be an NPC in the game. I'm cool
Yeah.
with that.
I
But
was thinking of that already. I'm like,
Yeah.
you told me you had like multiple characters prepared. I'm like, the ones you don't play should be NPCs.
Like,
Yeah.
what I like about the
Cassie.
half-orc character is it's like far more open-ended and there's
Mhm.
more room for development.
this is
But
more
this
like
is more
driven
like,
motivation.
here are your parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about her as a character, like, in general.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I think it'll be more fun. Well, I mean, even just on a totally personal level, it'll be more fun for me to watch you play the half-orc
Okay,
and to
Also,
see how she
can
develops.
we make your half orc do drugs?
that is totally not decided yet.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
Half
Stay-
orcs are pretty spiritual. If you can sell it to me, half orcs are pretty spiritual.
Look at the magic
so-
I can do with my drugs.
We're all
It's
dudes.
fantastic.
Are you not a dude?
No, Ashleen's not a dude.
I'm a dude. Well, the dwarf
Yeah.
was a female, but the
No.
half orc's a male.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna if nobody's
I'm gonna be the.
I'm gonna be the female.
I could be non-binary.
I was thinking about being not the third character I made is non-binary, but I'm
You have
not as
another
stoked
page?
about that one. Not a full page, just scribblings.
Okay.
It was a halfling, but I'm not gonna be a halfling.
Fine.
That's cool. Like
Sorry.
that's good. But I'm like I need there to be at least
Yeah.
one female.
I can still be. I'm thinking like Peppermint Patty.
Yeah. I did that in my last campaign. I was
I'm here
like
for
the
that.
sole female.
I was the sole
Male?
female in my last campaign.
Or you could
With
switch.
you guys.
Yeah, I'm open to playing a female.
That'd be
People are
cool.
okay with me playing
Actually,
a female.
that'd be really
Are you
cool.
guys okay with that? Because
Oh,
I want to
man.
do that, but I
Like,
wasn't
I'm
feeling like
imagining
it'd
like
be
Janis Joplin.
Yeah,
like,
I'm down.
oh,
Okay, female.
yes.
female. It's happening. Female.
Tim.
Still Tim.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Timothy.
Tamandra.
Tamitha.
Tim.
Tamitha.
Dimitri.
Tim.
Tamandra.
Tamandra.
Any
We'll work
preference
with
on
it.
your
We'll
end?
work with it. You guys can still call me
I could
Tim.
Tia.
totally.
Tia.
It could be
No
still
pressure.
non-binary, mostly like people
I've
presenting.
worked in
same stuff.
libraries a lot.
I'm down. As long as y'all are okay.
Well, what are your
I'm willing to play. I'll figure it
You know
out.
what?
as
I'm
we go.
gonna
that
say
character
that
being a
my
female is
half
the-
orc is male, but I'm gonna say that most people that he comes across can't tell his gender because they don't know orcs, and so they're just like,
Neat.
you all kind of look the same.
Whoa.
I like it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I'm gonna say he is male, but nobody really knows his gender when they first encounter him.
Cool.
Thoughts on?
Kind of like dwarfs.
Wait. Hold on a second. I need to get used to this.
Ferg.
Thoughts on Ferg?
I
Ferg.
picked a
Ferg.
class too.
I want to call you Fergie, but that's just.
Fergus.
It's hard.
gonna
It's
happen.
really hard.
It's gonna happen.
My buddy Ferg.
Your lumps, because of the lumps.
I'm gonna find a way to say your name in a Miss Piggy voice. I promise you.
Ferg is gonna be
Ferguson.
mask of center, non-binary. Like definitely okay with like he, but spend so much time reading that there's not a whole lot of thought about gender.
Mhm.
Done.
Ferg is like, no, you must learn. I'm like, oh, now you
Why do
learned.
But sex? Eh. Alright. I read
what
about
class
it.
you're gonna be?
What?
Do you know what class you're gonna be? Did you say already?
I do believe
I
you
said
sorcerer.
Oh, you did say sorcerer.
I did, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe bard, but like,
No,
yeah.
sorcerer.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I'm gonna
Sparky.
go because of like the group, like where everybody else went. I'm gonna go he. I'm gonna go like male.
You?
Okay. Wait, can everybody just say their class really quick?
Mhm.
What did
Sorcerer.
We can.
Wizard.
Fine.
Ranger.
Doing it.
Paladin.
Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Okay, we don't have a healer.
Not necessary.
Paladin.
Also, I think I'm gonna pick monk. Just based off of the Xanthar ones, I really liked one of the monk
Which one you
specialty
feeling?
ones.
The healer one?
The Way of the Sun Soul.
Oh yeah, that one was super cool.
I just thought it sounded kind of cool. So the monks of the Way of the Sun Soul learn to channel their life energy into searing bolts of light, and they teach meditation. They teach that meditation can unlock the ability to unleash the indomitable light shed by the soul of every living creature.
Lame. Yes, that sounds really awesome.
I just kind of saw it as like them tapping
I like
into
it.
the
Yeah.
mycelium
Yeah,
and
that's
everything's
really
connected,
cool.
so
Yeah, I
they
like
can
that.
like.
I like it.
That's
Yeah.
why I was like reading that. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
And you
I
found
can,
that
like,
shit out in the forest. Like,
yeah,
that's really
exactly. I
cool,
lived in the
like,
forest, learned all this shit, like
Shot laser beams and things. It's
meditating with my people on penance.
Meditating with your people in complete darkness. Because generally speaking, mycelium.
Thrive in the darkness.
Yes.
Yes.
They glow in the dark
Yeah.
though too.
It's only within the darkness that you retrieve
You
and
don't
receive.
require
That you find the light
chlorophyll,
within
that's
yourself.
Can you like
Exactly.
just
Oh,
splice
Okay,
it
but I
like
love how
that?
nerdy we get together.
Ferngully
Okay.
at this
Oh.
juncture?
Yeah, Ferngully, that shit.
Yeah, just like at this point, like Ferngully.
God, I
Hex
forgot
six,
about that. I
hex
gotta
six.
watch that with my kids.
Yeah, so,
It's
So-
not a good movie, but I
it's a
don't know.
good movie.
The songs
It's
are
good.
good.
It's such a good movie.
Oh my god, it's got music.
It's a musical.
It's
Are
not-
you kidding me?
Is it a musical?
It's with Tim Curry and Robin Williams. It's
Tim
a
Curry
musical.
plays Hexes.
Yes. And Robin Williams plays Batty.
My name is Batty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. It is a musical.
It's totally
so
a
good.
musical.
That was when
There's at least
Robin
5
Williams was on
songs.
coke for sure.
And then there was Ferngully
When was
Part
it?
2, which is
Never saw it.
commonly, yeah, you did. It's called Avatar.
Yeah, it's
I
actually
Ferngully.
That's a
I actually
hybrid
never
between
saw it.
Ferngully and
And
Dances with
Pocahontas.
Wolves. Dances
Oh.
with Wolves.
I was gonna say
Definitely.
Pocahontas, but Dances with Wolves too.
Same
Maybe
views.
just like all 3.
Similar, yeah.
And then
there you
like
go.
$14 million. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Where? Yeah, good foot. Fuck yeah, I've done.
Okay, party.
Part time.
Party
Excellent.
time.
Are-
We're going to a party at Ashley's.
You ready to
house.
roll?
Are you all ready? Are you ready to roll?
Oh, yes.
Let's roll.
Okay. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to record a lot of the dice rolls on here. So in a little bit, I'm gonna start this, and I'm just gonna keep it recording, and I'm gonna pass it to you, to Connor and Ashleen, and have you attach it there,
Yep.
and then we'll put that here. We've got your names here. And
How about we all just
got-
lean into your box, and that makes it easier. So we don't
because
feel
I'd
like-
rather you not because of the cameras.
Are we just all gonna like pass it and roll all 6 down and then do the trading afterwards? Or are we gonna pass it around for like each?
Everyone's gonna do strength. Everyone's gonna do
Okay.
dexterity, and so on and so forth.
Do
Okay.
we want to talk about the rules for the trading? Because I was unclear from your email. I want to know what we're doing before we do it. So also our
Well,
viewers
we
know.
discussed it before, but yeah, let me
Just wanted to
remind you. So so the trading exists as such so far like this. When we're done rolling and everyone's got their stats, everyone has one trade that they can
There's different
propose
types, you wanna look at 'em.
to another player.
This is the one I'm
And-
used to.
Okay, can I get your attention?
I'm gonna do my best.
Well, you're used, like, we've been used to freeform, so you calling us to attention, I feel like it's
Which is
gonna
what-
take a little getting used to, but yes, totally do it.
Yeah. So Ashley, for example, gets one trade, and she gets to propose one trade to someone, and until you get a yes, you can keep trading. You can keep proposing trades,
Wait,
trades. So
I'm not gonna get, if I get a no, then I'm not trading.
no, if you get a no, you're not trading with that person for that stat.
Okay.
Okay, but you can keep proposing a trade. You can say, okay, well, Ashleen, I know you have a 16 in your charisma, and you as a monk, you're not going to really want that, or maybe you will. I'm not
I
sure.
love
But
my
what
charisma
I'm
characters.
but what I'm saying is that I really need a high charisma for this reason because I'm a sorcerer. So how about that trade? And then Ashleen finally gives it a thought. Yes. So now that you've gotten one yes, your trading is done.
Once you have one trade done.
Once you have one trade and someone says yes to that, your
Okay.
trade is done.
So what
However, Ashleen, her trade is not done. Even though she agreed to trade with you, she now gets to offer someone a trade.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Everybody gets one yes eventually. is what you're
Yes.
saying.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's it.
From
Okay.
one they proposed.
So.
But otherwise, you have what you have.
Are you ready? You roll 4d6 and you get the best 3 of the 6.
Yep. You're
It's-
rolling this.
It's not as bad as.
And
no,
in
no, no. I'm just like, wait.
Figure
What
it
does
out.
a sorcerer
Oh,
need?
Yeah, you want that.
charisma.
Oh,
Charisma.
Yeah, it'll tell you too if you look it up
That's
really
why I
quick,
wanted
like
it.
the
That's
quick
why I
build.
wanted the
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't change that
the rogue.
unless you trade with somebody.
So you're writing in pencil.
So I'm suggesting that you go first because the camera's set up right here.
Sure.
We are now recording
fresh.
with this one, and I'm going to.
I don't have to
Not at all
decide
in
on
the
a
camera,
trade right
by the
now.
way.
That's not all what.
And all visible in the camera currently. There. Yeah, maybe. You have to really roll the die in a very small
There you go.
area for that to be
It's
visible.
corner, and then- yeah.
That's what it's
Worth
Don't
it.
do
We
that.
plan on making
Because
it
it's got to
cleric.
have the strength.
We
of
need
it.
a healer.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
All right,
Thank
Potions
you.
galore.
Ashley,
Potions galore.
rolling strength.
Oh.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn.
What'd you get? 6s straight?
665 and something else I can't see.
So that's a
Two.
17.
I'm gonna be a
So what's the
fucking
other? I have
spunky
curiosity.
little
What's
shit.
the other
Strong
die?
little spunky
Two.
shit.
2? Cool.
What?
This is all for
So
strength.
you have a
The one-
17.
Thank you.
We're just going down the line, right?
Yep.
17?
In strength.
17.
That is good.
So I need
I
dex.
know.
By the
Dex
way, I have
is
no
not
idea if
good.
any of that is really visible on your phone. It's so close.
Dex
It is.
A couple of them might be, but it's looking real tight.
I need strength.
I'm just trying to be clear so we don't find out later that this is a problem.
There you go.
I want the
Wait,
strongest
what?
drug wizard ever, by the
Wait, am
way.
I
I
gonna-
want to be real clear.
I want the smartest barbarian ever.
Am I going
And
over
this is
that?
to
I
prevent
would
it from
like
not
to
get
get
higher
rolling.
dex than me.
I'm just gonna say it on record. I'm excited to see what happens. I don't really care.
You gotta put your
Because
name
I'm
on
gonna
there,
build
Will.
my character accordingly.
I care
I'm
a
standing
lot. Super lot.
Do I need to go
What's
over
happening?
here?
You're fine.
Or are you
I
just-
care most about the unexpected.
Is this just an experiment?
No, this
Is
is
this
we're
coming back?
actually.
This is
doing
really
No,
happening.
I know, but
I want
am
to
I
be
gonna
clear
have
to the
to
viewers.
stand over here?
This
No,
symbol means a 6. Oh, we're getting closer. Okay, I thought we were gonna show the entire box. That's fine.
You can show the entire
This
box.
is like a
Sure.
for real
I'll be-
POV.
It's gonna be real big. Like, it's okay.
Oh my god, for my wizard! I'm so excited for the most strongest wizard ever!
You're tainting my
Let me math. That is gonna be 12.
That's not
I'm a
bad.
12 strength wizard.
Not a bad.
Oh wait, I'm not.
six.
It's not negative.
It is not negative. It is a +1.
Oh.
I'm
Oops, that's
drug
pluses.
strong. I'm real drug
This
strong.
camera. Okay.
Oh,
I need
we're
dice.
going around.
Oh, use my dice.
There's like a whole thing of D6s.
Yeah. These
Yeah,
are
I'm gonna
good.
pick my own.
Oh God.
These would have rolled really well for you.
Or she could have gotten her stank on
Did you
them.
see that?
But I need to
Effects.
pick the ones that
Girl,
resonate with me.
The bad luck stank.
Did you not resonate?
Well, they don't resonate as much as making a choice.
Fair. Careful, yeah.
Your choice has power in it.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy with my strong wizard so far. Also, this goes.
So if anyone
Well,
wants
and your
fucking-
strong sorcerer over here, 17 strength.
anyone
Okay.
wants to really shrink me, these are the dice.
Which
I
is a
have
good
chosen.
if I need to trade.
Yeah.
Get it.
So I'm gonna take
I
that.
see a 5. That's not bad, right?
A 9.
That's kind of bad. That's a 0 though.
For
Still
a
not
ranger?
negative.
No, that is a negative.
It's a negative.
Oh,
negative.
it's a negative.
Mhm.
10 and 11, 0.
Yeah.
Why are you writing in a pen? That's
You
weird.
should write it in pencil.
Bold move. No,
Guys.
bold move.
Let me just state for our viewers and for our group at large, this is the second campaign I've ever been in, and it's been like a year and a half.
They just changed
So-
it to like
And it's
level.
your
with
Yeah, I
it.
was writing in fucking pen.
And it's your second character.
Yeah, it's my second character ever.
So yeah.
So I
Like,
forgive you.
I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to forgive me, and I don't need forgiveness. But I wanted to let you know that you were writing in pen.
That was diplomatic, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's why I love you as a person.
Well,
Spin
you
you
want-
around real fast.
Got me
Right
sparkly
round,
Shake
eyed.
your
baby.
noggin.
Right
Yeah.
round,
No,
like
it
a
blows
record,
smoke up my
baby.
nose.
That's not bad.
Oh, I don't know. That's pretty bad.
For barbarian.
11.
Well,
It
maybe.
seems like you might be want to be talking to a sorcerer.
I got
Yeah.
traded.
Listen, you said you were an angry librarian. You
This is-
didn't say that you were an
Strong.
effective barbarian.
I really hope you're
This
an
is
effective
true.
barbarian, though.
I would like to be somewhat effective.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
be able
That's
to
totally fair.
pull people with.
So do we have to trade skill for skill? Like we have to like.
Yeah, strength to strength,
Okay,
dex to
okay.
dex, whatever.
Oh, we do.
Actually, that's not true.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like
Goody,
that idea.
goody.
9.
Good. Thank God.
Yes.
Because it's just one trait.
That's
Okay.
12,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that
I
would
don't
be two
math,
of them.
guys.
That is 12.
Better than I thought it was going to be. I'm okay with this. That sounds fine. I'm arguing
Find
maybe for
somebody.
Should we just do the next roll first since we're already
What was
over
your
here?
roll? I
Everybody's
missed it.
looking
I
at
got
you
12.
for your strength
Okay.
right now, so.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I love that I'm a little.
Can I have one of the little cards there?
Do you want us to start with the decks since we're already over here, Phil?
They're so thick.
Or do you
and
want us
they're
to pass
hard
it back?
to
Thick,
separate.
Thickica. Hold on.
Like we could just boomerang it if you
Yeah, let's boomerang it. That's
Alright.
that's easy.
Boomerang. Ducks.
Good idea.
I'm so excited for Dex roll.
I know. And this whole mess was my wanting, so
Yeah.
I'm
if it turns out
excited.
poorly, I'm not sorry.
That's not bad.
It's a 12 again.
4s are hot for Connor
So
tonight.
balanced.
Or Connor's hot for 4s. That's a personal choice.
Which
though.
my favorite number is 4.
Connor's
Excellent
Four.
choice of
I would
words.
posit that you could possibly be an Enneagram 4 or 5.
Hey,
Come
sorry.
on.
What did you get?
4.
Mama needs a high dex.
12,
That's
12,
a really
sorry.
low dex.
12 strength?
11
9,
strength, 12
11.
dex.
11.
9,
monks,
11?
Monks really need a dex, and I got an 11. So
Why do
if
monks
anybody
need
gets a
dex?
high one,
What,
hit
what
me
was your
up.
strength?
It's
I'm writing it
their
down.
class
12.
is based off of
Specific.
it a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so now
But they
we'll
also
pass
need
this.
wisdom too.
In case we want to be like, hey, yo, who's got what?
Are these dice
Mm,
fine?
Sure.
Okay.
Sparkly
Give it
ass.
I'm the data guy.
give it a
Obviously,
good roll.
I'm the data guy.
Oh. I kind of wanted myself to be dopey, so.
That was 7.
No, that's.
Yeah, it's 7.
Yeah, that's
Oh, you
Seven
take the last
dex.
one. You take the
One
bad
off.
one off.
Correct.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted myself to be clumsy, so I'm okay with that.
you're
That
clumsy.
is definitely clumsy.
Yeah.
Who wants a dexterous wizard? No, no one does. That is a
Wizard.
9. It looks like a 3, 3, 3. A 9. Alright, Sad Panda.
Everybody drink their drink.
Yeah.
What's your top stat that you need for a ranger?
Dexterity and wisdom.
Wisdom. So it's the same as monk.
Wisdom.
Weird.
Where'd
It's
you get
different
your
than
dice?
losdom.
12. So far,
We
I'm really
flipped.
average.
Oh shit!
What'd you get?
15?
Hell yeah.
That is the best dex so far.
Especially for a potentially
Not
like,
giving it
like
up.
Rangers can use some good decks.
I
for
need
sure.
some good decks.
Yeah.
So
I'm
now
gonna be
you're
putting
moving on. You're
everything
rolling
into
again.
dexterity for sure.
Yeah, you're
You're
gonna
rolling
go
again, and you're doing con this
We're
time.
booming it.
All right.
pass the decks to me, and I'll pass the con to you. Boom.
You
just
slap
got
each
con.
other out of the
Oh,
air.
okay,
Not that
figure
con.
it. Okay, got it.
Roll again. Get it. You're good.
Okay.
No pressure.
Oops.
It counts.
No, it doesn't.
Does it?
What?
Nope.
Okay.
It wasn't in the
Good,
box.
because it was a terrible.
What
That
is
was the same roll.
Okay, good.
It was destined.
14, it looks like. 6, a 5, and a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I'll take it.
14 con for the Ranger. That ain't bad.
All right.
For the Ranger instead of for the win. I like that.
Right.
Nerd.
Forgetting. I'm putting it. I'm
Yes.
putting it in
Touch
the box.
it. Touch my box.
Accurate.
Putting you in the box, and you're in the box.
Ooh, girl.
Nice job.
I got a 15 con.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck y'all.
That
That
is-
I need to concentrate real hard on my spells, so eat it.
Oh, that's
Doesn't Constitution help with your AC? Or no, that's with your
No, no, no.
health,
Hit
right?
points.
hit
yeah,
points
that's right.
and concentration checks.
Kind of important.
That is, yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Make an argument.
I'm feeling.
Need some more booze?
I'm gonna get the evil
I
out.
wish.
Is that how it
Yep.
works?
You
Sorry,
got
that's evil because I thought you were puking for a second.
No,
Try
I'm,
giving.
I'm
all good.
exercising the demons.
Okay.
Exercising the
Speaking of
demons.
which, I think like the calling the demon place Devil's Peak kind of hilarious. I mean, that's kind of.
I don't know.
Non-linear.
Things are getting too spicy
Yeah,
for
we're
the
just gonna
pepper.
roll. Bam, 12.
12.
Ba-da-ba-bum-bum.
Hey, 12 is
That's
good
not
for a
bad, it's not
con.
bad. Yeah,
That's a
for
good
a
That's a
halfling,
plus
yeah.
1.
12 for
Also,
a
if you have
sorcerer,
also
too.
have a stout halfling, they got a plus 1 if you want.
What?
You have to figure out which kind of halfling you're gonna be.
Light sword helps with your dex, I'm pretty sure.
The halflings help with
But,
dex.
well, I'm gonna trade the decks if I can. Well, no, I probably won't.
Ooh, actually, yeah, but being human.
Nobody's gonna trade a
plus 1 to
7
all
with me. I
these
think that's the
bitches.
worst roll.
Or you can get a feat.
That is an optional
You can tilt it
roll, and
upwards.
there's no guarantee those okay with that.
Oh, stay.
Alright.
Sure.
I don't know what
Yeah,
this is
it's
about.
like very
Come on,
imbalanced.
It's kind of broken.
That was great.
Oh, hell yeah.
What do you got?
15.
15?
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
663.
For a barb? Yeah. And a human that's gonna bump that up to a 16? Yeah.
No, that's still so
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you love all odd numbers. Give me all the odd numbers.
I mean, right now, your strength would be a 12, worst case for you. That's not
Not great.
bad. But Barber, I mean, you
I was hoping for an extra high roll.
do some drugs.
8 and 6,
14.
14.
That would be cool.
14?
I'm chilling pretty average right now. And then
We're all
gonna
doing
do-
Take the-
above
take
average
con
on
out.
Our
Now-
lowest con is actually at 12. Which
Intelligence.
is
Really?
not bad, yeah. If we had
Intelli-
12, 14, 14, 15, 15.
What if we just don't trade?
We don't have to.
You have to trade. You don't have to trade.
Are we allowed to trade with ourselves?
No.
I'd like to trade my dexterity for my constitution, please.
I accept that trade.
16 for my intelligence.
Wow.
Mm.
We may talk. We'll see how this goes.
I only really want dexterity though, so if yours is lower than mine.
It is significantly, but it doesn't have to be a
Walk
1-to-1.
Yeah,
I mean, we can do a whatever to whatever,
That's
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to lower.
I'm just kidding. I don't really need intellect, so
And that's
I
what
probably
thought
will
about
trade
my
you.
dexterity.
For the good of the
Worst
group.
case.
Like, that'd
Hopefully,
be
there's going to
funny.
be another.
I mean, as long as you're charismatic,
Yeah, like take.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I wiggled the
Super-
box around a lot. Hang on.
super dopey.
Okay, go for it.
Ooh, I see some 6s and a bunch of lows. Sorry. I got real excited.
It's still 13.
Oh, for your intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatively smart barbarian.
Mm.
Actually, that's perfect for a barbarian that's like obsessed
librarian?
with being
You
a
wanted to have high
librarian.
intelligence.
But, like,
But
it's
yeah.
not-
Librarian.
Can't
Two-
get meta.
and it'll be a 14 if you keep it there. So like,
For intelligence?
Yeah.
I'm okay with
The only time I've ever been mad at you as a GM is when you almost made my character spirit get sucked
No,
into
there's a
the
6
well.
down there, so that's an
I was
11.
slightly angry.
Okay.
You got an
Not
11.
too bad.
That's pretty
Alright.
good for a
What did you say?
sorcerer.
The only time I've
because you
been
don't
mad at
need
you
really
as a
And
GM
I'm like a
is when you
child,
tried to
so
suck
good.
my character's soul into a well. I was like slightly mad at you, but I mean I survived, so we're good.
okay.
Not that I would have been like
Good story-
mad
good story,
at you
Ashley.
over time. That's just like the only time
Riley.
in game where I was like,
Riley.
this is really frustrating.
Well, I'm saying we, and you're not
Right, that was
involved
pretty
in this.
It was pretty frustrating. But
Because we couldn't do anything. So
we
it's
did
like,
die in a really stupid way.
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
felt
really
like it was.
let's not run
pretty-
away from a bunch of giants. Let's just stand out in the middle of it.
All right, this is totally not an important rule. I don't know what you're talking about. This is zero issue or intensity here.
18.
It's a 15.
Yeah.
Woo! You needed that.
That is. That's not bad.
Well, and you're human, right? So you get +1 to all
Supposed
stats,
to be to a
right?
16. So yeah, basically, unless I can trade for somebody who has a 17, there's no way for me to change on this one. So we'll see how it
I
goes.
just have a question. So, as a halfling, we're gonna do 5th edition, whatever pluses for that,
Racial
Also
pulses.
don't know
Yeah.
why
or
I
not
like the
some
comp.
kind of combination.
I do, but I
making it a combination of elves and dwarves, not some.
No, it's going to be the halfling stats in here.
What was your intelligence? Sorry.
That's okay. You can look them up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of us know like off
What was
the
your
top. I don't
intelligence?
know half orcs.
11. Yeah.
I got 7.
That's kind of fun.
Oh.
Wait, you can't be dumb to be a drug dealer.
Yeah, but see, okay, so
I
here,
didn't say.
As long as my
Wisdom.
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 Yeah.
Okay,
Wisdom.
yeah.
We're doing wisdom now.
Yeah,
remember that
You're
there
transitioning.
is a lack of intelligence, but then there's an expertise in something. So someone can have a proficiency and be like an expert at something, and at the same time
Like-
be all around kind
Yeah,
of stupid.
I never went to
Yeah.
school.
There's so many
Big
different
deal.
kinds.
I just tried a lot of
There's
drugs.
different kinds of smart. Like,
Yeah.
I
there's
have
definitely
met
a
people
wisdom.
who are like really good at that one thing, but
Need a
they're
drink.
fucking dumb.
I get a
skunks.
proficiency in intimidation because I'm scary looking.
Oh my
That's
god.
my
That's
dad.
right.
For our
That's what my
viewers,
thing
for our
says.
viewers, I think that we kind of like we're like letting ourselves go a little bit in this
Oh, we're
section
getting a little
because
drunk.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That is a
16.
Boom,
Yes.
That's all I needed.
FTW.
16? That's
Mhm.
a damn good wisdom.
Fuck you,
You better
intelligence.
wise up.
You're welcome. I blew on that die.
I know. I'm gonna thank you later.
Can you blow an Oliver down?
Oh, you didn't make a blow joke. I was hoping for a blow.
That was
That
a joke. She made insinuating
I
on a
wasn't-
thank you
I
later joke.
I was looking at my stats.
Hot.
My
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah.
Hey,
You
you look
missed-
at our stats in the privacy of your own homes, alright?
Oh! I don't know. Ugh.
You just said I don't know.
Looking at my zone, studying
13.
tantrums.
6, 5, and a 2. 13?
13.
13. That's an extra 6 in there. That's 13. I don't even keep track of that one. Cool. Wait
Pass it over.
a second.
So far, I'm not smart and I'm not strong. You know, have like drank too much water too fast.
I only
So
have
I
this.
basically am flying.
I only have the sensation of flying when
6, 5, 4. That's a 15.
Woo!
15 wisdom.
I like being dumb, but wise.
Yeah.
Simply was kind of a shitty show anyway.
Oh, I loved it. My
It
partner says
freaked
the
me
same
out
thing.
when I
I
was-
loved it so much.
Yeah, I'm with
And
you.
3,
I loved it so
4.
much.
11? Okay.
Nickelodeon in
I'm
general.
okay with that for Wizzy Wiz.
I liked it.
So good.
Wizzy Barbarian?
Wizzy Barbarian.
What was
Wizzy.
it?
11.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Oh, sorry.
I don't know where our generation would be.
I mean,
if
it's
everyone was
unpack
running
my
something
box.
comedy-wise.
Oh,
I think it shaped
well,
us.
no, cartoon-wise, like every single cartoon.
Adult Swim
takes-
was based
And
off
no,
of
it's
Ren and
more
Stimpy.
than that.
Show.
Every
Really?
every single like TV-based cartoon takes
Okay.
from the animation style. For
I-
better or worse,
Yeah.
my partner
What do you
hates
got?
that. Hates
13?
that style. He can't watch it. Like
Not bad.
I'm really clear.
But I love it.
hate you. Your lowest roll is an 11.
Are you trying to fucking jinx my charisma?
Yes.
Back up, son.
You don't need
I'm
Yeah.
you're a monk.
I want it though.
Yeah, of course you
Why
do.
not?
I played a
bard
you get
last
really
night.
Okay.
good. Can I
Get on
trade it
this.
with you? 'Cause I
What's that?
charisma.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need it.
So
Cha, cha, cha.
when you roll 13?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's like it.
Let go.
That's pretty low.
Yeah, this one's low. Thank you. I got an 8.
You're welcome.
That's the lowest. I'm so glad.
You just
'Cause I have. Oh
you just
no, I have a 7. I have
actually
the
like
lowest.
an anti-blow.
Yeah, you jinxed me.
You like
Hardcore.
sucked the life.
Connor,
from
your
the
lowest
thing.
is also an 11.
Connor,
My lowest is a
you're gonna roll a
7.
Just to be
fucking
fair.
18 right now.
Yeah,
I
no,
feel
it's gonna
it.
happen.
I
Honestly,
would
that's
like
how
to- I would
Connor
actually
rolls.
like
Connor
to-
rolls
yeah,
puzzle one of
actually,
those
he
To
hates
add
it.
up totals and find out what everybody's total is because.
Alright.
10.
That's better than an 8. Good
You
job.
were consistently average.
I know this.
Awesome.
That's
Oh, I love
Stop it.
those.
Thank
so
you,
mad.
statistics. Roll,
An
which is
important,
tough
super
for
smart,
most-
and
most
important
important
fucking wise.
Smart
How many do I
roll
get with
of a
4, right?
lifetime.
4.
Folks,
Yeah, you're smarter
this
than a
is it.
7.
Definitely
This is
smart.
the moment.
Okay.
This is what you've all been waiting for.
Guys.
Dun 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 dun.
I believe no
dun,
pressure.
dun, 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 wah,
His
wah.
luck.
Here, get,
Didn't you need a
sit
high
down.
charisma?
So people can see you.
Love.
Oh, we want to see
I
your
need high
face.
strength icon.
Oh, okay.
10, 14.
Boom, yeah.
Not bad.
Alright, not too bad. Not too
Not
bad.
bad.
You're a good roller.
You needed that for your sorcerer.
I know, but
That's
I'm
a
actually
solid
want to
one.
train.
Yeah, you do whatever.
Still want better. Better.
Well,
Yeah, not too bad.
better.
No, not
Get
too
it, get
bad.
it, better, get it.
And you get trades in there, and you're good.
No, but my dexterity.
Dude, everyone's
My
going to want that
dexterity's
fucking thing.
fucked. Everybody's
That's
all over
highly
it.
coveted.
Yeah, but I kind of like the idea.
What did you get?
of
17?
keeping it.
A 665.
Halfway.
With the child
Yeah.
leaning on it.
Adorable.
Sure, I want to arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
know
what
who's
they,
gonna
like,
want
that's not
that
my
charisma.
idea. It's these two's idea. They're like
Here's the
skipping
story.
me out.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Will?
About an elf named Shanna.
17.
Woo!
In charisma?
In charisma?
Wow.
I'm a really charismatic wizard.
I mean,
I don't know, we'll
Timothy
talk.
Leary, just saying.
You got this.
Wait. So
Well,
it's
Todd, I really
trained
want that 17 strength, though, so we'll see how it
Dexterity,
goes.
but not so very smart.
Yeah?
I might trade you my 17.
We'll talk, we'll
wait,
talk.
what's yours?
We'll talk.
Spoilers.
We'll
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
We'll talk.
Let's do
She
that
might
later.
get an 18.
Okay. Charisma.
Go charisma.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Not bad. It's a 14.
That's a really good roll.
That's a really good roll.
Yeah.
I ask you to pass that to Ashley because she's going to be the first one to trade.
Wait.
I rolled randomly.
So if I get no, so I can be like, hey, I want to trade you this for this, and if I get a no, I go on to the next person. Mazel tov. Happy Hanukkah.
If you get a no, then it's going to go on to the next person, but you
You
still
too.
get
Hold
a
on,
trade.
Let me hold on. Does everybody have their
Oh.
stats currently written down on their page? Because that would also be really important.
Yes.
I might miss mine. 'Cause I'm
You might
writing
want
stuff.
that.
Give me 2 seconds.
You might want it.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I don't know what to do. Can I not go first?
You have to go first. Roll
That's what he
randomly.
rolled.
It's happening.
Okay, so I have a 17 strength. Don't necessarily need that. And I can trade that for any other stat, right?
Yeah.
I know it's between you two.
Well, and you have
So-
the whole ledger in your person.
Yeah, but
But are you
so
are you trying to trade to make your strength lower, or are you trying to trade to make something else higher?
I'm trying to trade to make my charisma even higher. I've got a 14.
So that's what you need to do because you're saying like I have this number on my charisma. Who will
I'd
trade
love
this
to
for me?
switch out, trade with myself. Switch out my strength and charisma.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That'd be great. So
Well,
wait,
you can also make a deal with somebody. Say, hey, I'm going to trade you my very high stat in strength for a low number. If at the for your trade, you trade me the opposite so that you get a higher stat there. Like,
Yeah, and
you
I can
make
wheel
that
and
deal.
deal. So what can you give me like?
I have an offer if you want.
Okay, yeah.
I will give you my 16 intelligence, which I don't need for your charisma, if you give me your 17 for my dex. Your strength would be an 11 still.
My strength would be an 11. My charisma would be a 16.
And my intellect would be whatever your charisma is.
14.
And you realize that that's going to be your trade and that's going to be your trade.
Wait. I
'Cause
thought
I'm like-
when it's your turn.
Well, because they're making counter offers. So this
I'm
is
making
actually
a
a question for
counter
the
offer.
rules. So we haven't laid out
Yeah.
the rules for this.
Yeah.
There are no
Is,
rules.
is this like okay? So if so this is now a counter offer. So that takes up their trades. This is getting confusing.
I feel like we should each have a turn to do.
I mean,
like,
you don't have to say
I-
yes if you don't want to, but that was
I-
just my offer. I'll give
I
you
also
16.
agree that I think
Yeah.
this should be from the way we first talked about it last time. Like you're making an offer and that person can say no or not, and there's no counter offers. Like we can bounce it back and forth, maybe. I mean,
Oh.
we can do whatever, but like that just seems like it's a little so
You want
freeform.
to keep it. You
I
want to
kinda
keep
wanted
it.
to keep it a little bit like that.
That's
That seems
totally
totally
fine.
freeform of like
I don't
everybody.
know.
I feel like how are you going to get
Or you
someone
can
to say
open the
yes
floor.
to you?
I feel
You
like
know
because
what
we
I
all
mean?
have different styles, and I'm
I mean, I'm
and
open
so
to
like
it,
I don't
whatever,
know, and I
but-
want to hear what you all have to say, and I need.
Well,
help
I mean,
in
if anybody
making
else
it.
wants to make a case for Ashley 17, you can totally do that. If you
Uh,
want to have like a better offer, right? Like I'm not trying to. It doesn't have to be me.
I would
I-
like Ashley 17 because I want my barbarian to smash.
So what?
I
are you
want
gonna
to. I
trade
want
her?
to Hulk smash.
Basically, I would imagine that everyone wants Ashley 17.
Yeah, I don't think I want another 17, right?
I just
So
wanna
let's go
hire
with this.
Dex.
I
That's
have
fine.
the highest other stat,
14
which
or
is
higher
another
and Dex would be
17.
great for me.
And I would like to trade my 17 for your best stat and get your 17 for my best stat.
Can we say, well, I don't know. Just like for me, I will just say, I'm happy with my stats. I'm willing to negotiate my 14 charisma. I don't know if anybody cares. That's all I want to say.
I'll trade you my 11 strength for your 14 charisma.
Well, but here's the thing though. It's Ashley's turn.
I don't like it.
Just
So-
go.
Just make an offer.
Okay.
So what's your 17 in right now?
I'm actually. I feel the same.
Well,
Like,
her
I'm
offer's
actually
not gonna
good
relate
with
to her
my
17.
stats. Like, I'm good. I think it's kind of hilarious, the idea of me having the highest strength. I think that's really funny. And could be fun for just like playing.
What do you want more of in your stats? Of
My
any
thing
of
is,
them?
I don't know if I can like pull off the charisma 17. Like, I think I could pull off a 14. But
So you want
Well,
a lower charisma?
Here's the thing, like charisma too is not necessarily about like how pretty you are or whatever, but it like
also,
there's so
like,
many different ways you
intimidation
can be. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can
persuasion.
play any of the stats, right? Like it doesn't have to be a traditional perspective on it. Like,
Yeah.
But
And when it comes down to it, you're gonna want the higher score.
Oftentimes,
Yeah.
I've heard.
I'm gonna want
Why?
what?
What?
You're gonna want
Higher
higher
score.
Oftentimes,
In
I've
charisma.
Yeah.
Just in overall.
Well, yeah.
oftentimes I've heard charisma described as a strength and spirit as well.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Like that.
And
That's what I would
honestly,
put it.
as a sorcerer, just rocks are hard, water's wet, and that's your most important stat.
Okay. You're offering a 17 in charisma.
If you give me back the 17 in intelligence.
But only like one transaction can take place right now.
Yeah.
And then your intelligence is what?
15.
So
pretty
I'd
high
be trading.
intelligence
So I would be having a strength of 15.
Yeah.
I'd be trading
It's
that.
still a pretty high strength.
Yeah. What's your offer, Connor?
What's your charisma?
My charisma is 14.
Yeah, so I'd be taking 14 of my charisma.
It's still pretty high for a wizard. That's good.
Pretty good. So, but you know.
I know.
I don't really have anything to offer.
Other than like you're gonna be the barbarian
Yeah.
and you need the strength.
My stats are incredibly average.
Oh, that's cute.
And yeah,
Already a real slow stat.
Hey, Sam's hanging out over here for a little while, so her place is still available. I'll give you a heads up when she goes over for a little while.
Oh, thanks for letting
Thank
us know.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Jill.
it.
my
Sponsored by
highest
the
stat
EU.
is a 15 in my constitution, which I am not trading away.
You want your yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could trade your constitution.
Does anyone have a 16 or higher?
like I'm just like
Or what?
I hate to, like the idea of FOMO. Like missing out. Like what if we
And,
miss out?
and
on
this is the drama
Like-
of this
Oh,
trade.
dun dun
Yeah.
This is the
Wisdom.
drama of this trade. So I fully admit that I am not involved in this. So
You're thinking about plot line.
I want you to have the strength, and it's like what if
Yeah.
we
I
traded
mean, we could
this?
also find a belt of giant strength that doesn't turn me into stone.
Yeah, there's not a belt of charisma.
Yeah, and like what? Oh, okay, really?
Because
Yeah,
so
there's definitely, yeah.
part of this was also opening up for Bill to like come up with magic items.
And
well
yeah,
and also for everyone
you're a
to
librarian.
experience
access.
to experience weaknesses
Yeah.
in places where you don't normally. You know, Ashleen said it the best like a couple sessions ago. It's like we all know how to min-max our characters via point buy.
Yeah.
We know how to do that. We're all experts, and even if you but seriously, even if you're not, we all are, and we could aid you in that. So
Right.
You'd
my,
be like, this is how you make your character the beefiest.
yeah,
I'm
Rogue
real
or
intrigued by
whatever.
my wizard with a 9 dex and that like he's just on drugs and like not really terribly coordinated.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
he's real easy to hit if you get near him. Like I'm kind of.
And I mean, I grew up like in a super penance-driven like colony of people secluded in the forest. Why would I have high charisma?
Yeah,
right?
this
Like
is-
you know, like I don't interact with anybody except for orcs. Like I don't know how to talk to people, so that
What
makes
is your
sense.
charisma?
yeah.
It's an 8.
A greeting might be a headbutt, and people are like, "Dude, fuck off."
Yeah. Like whoa.
This is my language. Don't appropriate it. Headbutts. So what do you got?
So
I mean, I can work within my stats. I have nothing to offer because I rolled average.
But you would like to have a higher strength.
I would
well,
love
there's
to have a
other
higher
yeah.
strength. Because I'm a human,
Great.
that would give me an
Also,
18
not blood
strength.
pressure. It's just great heart rate.
Hey,
I'll be able to
actually,
throw
Actually,
tables.
and I'm excited about this.
I'll give you my
I-
16.
But I'm like I'm just like Will's offer is
Hey,
just,
Ashley,
like, very. Yeah.
I'll give Connor my 16 intelligence if you don't give him your 17.
Oh, so that she like.
Because I want
Wait,
Connor
wait.
to. I don't need intelligence, and I want Connor to have a high wisdom. I mean, a
Okay.
high strength.
High
I will-
strength. All right, I think I'm gonna.
You don't need
I'm
wisdom.
gonna do your trade.
Let's do this.
Okay.
And
All right. So
I'm
so
giving you a
sorry.
17.
You have. So you have a what? Actually, how are we doing this? I like this. I like E.T.
Ashleen, so which one are you giving him?
I'm giving. Wait. So how does? I can't do this again.
So you have to ask
do
for a
it back and
specific
forth.
trade. You want something.
I want
Mm-hmm.
a 17 in charisma.
Okay. And you're trading, and you're asking for which one of his?
Well, just let's do the charisma one first, right?
Yeah. So
Well,
we're
wait.
Actually, this is.
Yeah. How does this?
Let me make sure this doesn't fuck up. Let me see that card.
You say, I'm trading, I want to trade you my blank for your blank.
For your
I'm
blank.
taking
What's your charisma?
Your 17 charisma, and I'm basically going to give you my 17 in strength for your 15 in strength.
Right.
Basically.
And what's your charisma?
14.
So your charisma becomes 14, Will, and your charisma becomes 17, and then your
Yes.
strength becomes 15, and your intellect becomes 17.
Well,
Hold
that's
on.
No.
Hold on. That's why I'm really
Yeah.
confused.
so
Right
that's where we're
Because his
only one trade can happen right now,
okay, yeah.
and then
so
we
just the
move
first
on
one.
to Connor.
Yeah, but this is where it's just, it doesn't make any sense because like
So-
it's not true to
Hold
life.
Hold on. So
Commitment.
Like, you
so
feel
she
like,
wants.
oh,
She
This is
wants
a
the best.
fantasy D&D game.
So she wants the best
It's not
one ever.
life.
So she's got a charisma of
You know what I'm
what?
saying?
You hold on. This is how it works. You've got a charisma of what?
14.
14. You want my charisma of 17. That trade happens.
And
And then on my turn, I'm going to be like, hey, I have an intelligence
That's
17.
all
You have
I'm
an
saying.
intelligence of what?
But you have to make a commitment throughout the
No,
whole thing.
but it's a handshake deal. He could fuck you over
Yeah.
right now
Well,
according
no,
to the
it
rules
wouldn't
that
be.
Bill's
It
setting
wouldn't
out.
be him fucking me over. It would be me fucking
Wait.
him over because if
Sure.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying is like if you can't do a swap,
I'm
If it's
not.
just a
I just want
direct
to let you
trade?
know I'm not good at like fucking people over.
but you
I'm not
could
good
if you
at it.
wanted to.
So
Yeah,
you
but
can-
we're also like a group of people who have to like work together collaboratively. Like,
Right, I know.
So screwing each other over is not necessarily the best move unless someone
Yeah.
over here is rolling
Yeah,
like
no
a
one-
catechism.
Yeah,
no
that's
one
why
has-
I'm like.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm obviously not going to screw
No
her.
one
I want my
has
17.
any motivation to screw anyone over. None.
I'm
0%.
That's why I'm
I'm
like,
just
I have
getting
no offer
giddy
from
over
Connor.
the logistics. That's all that's
Oh,
happening.
okay, yeah.
Cool.
I'm just giddy over the
Okay,
logistics.
so yeah,
That's
this is good. I'm giving you my 17 charisma to get your 14 charisma.
But it doesn't have to be a straight trade, right? It doesn't have to be a straight trade for like
I don't know
charisma
what you mean
for
by a
charisma.
straight- yeah, it
Charisma
doesn't
for-
have to be charisma
We're
to
just doing
charisma.
it. Just happens to be.
It could be like
Yeah.
it just happens to be in this case.
Alright.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure. That's
Yeah.
okay,
Cool.
fine.
I'll alter that.
Let me double check. So
Ah.
mathing
Only,
things.
only
So
because
14 and 17.
I want
I
something
got two
to do.
17s right
Well,
now. I don't know if I can give that
and
up.
I'm,
Maybe I
yeah,
can.
and
fuck
I'm
people
giving,
over.
and we're just straight trading intelligence because 17 to
If-
Charisma,
Well,
not intelligence.
Well, I'm
Strength.
no. We did
Strength.
charisma, and now it's intelligence to intelligence when it comes around to my
when
turn.
it comes around, no, it's strength to intelligence.
Whatever, yeah, your strength
Yeah,
and
yeah.
intelligence. Yeah, thank you. The
If-
17,
unless I
whatever
fuck
that
you
is,
over.
and your strength number is what?
Unless I
You
fuck
And your strength number is what?
you over. Maybe I need to learn how to do
That'd be
that
terrible.
Let me do
right
it.
now.
Okay, we're good.
Yep. I just want something to do. I have nothing to
I'm
do.
gonna
Sure.
do that.
Yeah,
Let's
sounds
do
good.
that. Okay, Connor.
I won't do
Hit
it.
me with an offer if you like.
It's so fun too, though.
I mean,
You
you
reminded me
said
of
you have a 16, and you don't need
Good. I
wisdom.
remind
I
you
don't
of
need
Marshall.
intelligence.
Oh, intelligence.
I need wisdom and I need dexterity as a monk.
I'll give you my 11th strength for your 16 wisdom.
Intelligence. But that doesn't really matter. I'm just.
Yes, intelligence.
So what are you giving up, Ashleen?
My 16 intelligence for his 11 strength.
And then what?
And then it's my turn to make a trade, but can I see the card? I just want to see if I was like higher than a 14. Or can you?
I have a.
So
15
Connor
I might
made a
be willing
successful
to
trade, right?
Yes.
I'm circling your name. And Ashley made a successful trade. And you want to see the card. There you
Yeah.
go.
Or I guess, let me just ask
By the way,
this
Will, that
to
was a
the
great
group.
idea to make that card.
Thanks.
Let me just ask
Data.
this to the group. Does anyone have a 14 or higher in a stat that they don't necessarily need
You
for
got
their
my card. I
character?
can tell.
I
Well, you
don't
have
I
it
do,
down
I
there,
do.
right?
I'm asking you
a
personally.
14 or higher.
Yeah, my dex is already 11, and I kind of just want
In
like
terms of
like
sorcerer,
as a
not
monk, I've played a monk a little bit before, and I know that like if my dex is low, it's gonna be like really hard starting. So I'd like to try.
I have
What's
a
your
15
dex
in
at?
wisdom.
My dex
too.
is at 11 right now, so it's still a positive. You have a 15 in wisdom.
Yeah.
Do you need wisdom? Do you know?
As a
Not-
sorcerer?
No.
What would you trade me for?
Well, I'm trying to trade for my
What
dex,
do you
so it
have?
would be an 11.
What are you offering?
Still reasonably
Sorry,
intelligent.
It's still a
15.
plus
It would be
1.
15, 11.
So wait.
I
You
get
have
it, yeah.
you're offer. You have an 11. 11 something.
I have an 11 dex, and I'm just looking for a 14 or higher if anyone
11
doesn't
something,
need a
and
stat.
you're offering a 15 something?
15.
Okay.
Just let me know.
A
11.
A 15 what?
15. Do you want to trade?
Wisdom, it doesn't
Would you be
matter.
willing to?
Like,
Yeah, I mean, at that.
It would make me a lot more
11
effective
wisdom?
monk. Yeah.
yes. I mean, I'm a child, so I don't need that much. I mean, I want to have some wisdom.
You'll still be good. You'll still be a +1 to all your rolls. It won't be like a 0 or a negative.
No, 11 is
Oh, 11
0.
0.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's my
10
bad.
and 11 is average, and it's +0 technically. So just.
Okay.
But you don't have to if you
Yeah.
don't want to. I can ask.
No. I think, I don't know. Does anybody else have an offer that they want to get rid of stuff? Shanna?
You're offering an 11?
Yeah, sorry. I
Unless
gave up.
somebody
Well, I mean, I don't have
offered,
anything
you know,
else to
somebody
offer
that's, like,
because I need to
pursuing.
trade my decks,
You'd be
right?
happy.
Or,
Yeah,
You're happy
you're
yourself.
specifically
I'm
looking
happy
for
with my
something
stats
higher,
too,
and
but
you're
yeah.
making that
Trading.
known.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
if
gave
you
up my
asked
highest
me,
stat to
I'd probably
Connor to help
Right.
the group, so I don't
Right.
have like.
But I'm not gonna
I
like.
feel like you're getting
offer.
into your character right now.
That's
That's
good. Good
valuable.
drug dealer.
So are you then a yes to
I
the
can do that.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that.
Thank
Cool.
you, Ashley. I really appreciate that.
So hand me that back. Thank you.
Trade
So-
trades.
Ashleen now has a 15 dex, right?
Mhm.
And Ashley now has an 11 wisdom.
And I have made a successful trade.
Shanna, any ideas right off the bat?
I'm just trying to take in the graph for a second. No idea.
Figure out what
Because I did hear you when you originally said, you know what? I don't necessarily need to trade.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
I mean,
for
I
sure.
felt
But I
the
thought
same
I'd look at
way.
this just to
Honestly, yeah.
like.
But you have a low strength, right?
I have a low strength and a low intelligence, and that's why I said like maybe it would be easier to be
Just
like.
fuck you and take your intelligence.
What's your intelligence?
Well, it
Do you want to shitty intelligence?
basically. I mean,
Ask it.
the only thing I'll say
Actually,
on my turn
No,
Which
I got my
isn't-
strength, so.
isn't like proposing a specific trade, and that's fine because I'm happy with what I have. Is the only thing that I'd really be like interested in sacrificing is my charisma. So if anybody's like
What's your
Jones
charisma?
14. So if anybody's jonesing on a
want
charisma
to,
and wants to
like,
trade
I'm
for a
actually
strength or
fine
an
with my-
intelligence,
Strength 17.
that would be cool. But like I don't
No.
like I don't feel like I
Oh, no,
especially
you're right.
need
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I have a 13
Okay.
intelligence that I can give you. What's your intelligence?
7,
I don't want to play a dumb barbarian.
right?
Especially your concept, dumb barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
Because
that's
you're a
not. That's not.
librarian.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like
Actually, I'm sorry. Have you ever seen UHF with
I
Weird
feel
Al
like
Yankovic?
it's really fun, dumb.
You've never seen UHF, so
Oh,
you,
Oh, God.
there's a they go through a bunch of like parodies of like movies, and one of them is Conan the Librarian, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what I just.
I kind
Actually,
of
that's
think that would
pretty
be really
fantastic.
fun. And
So-
she needs a higher intelligence.
so-
I feel like you're.
So tell me if this is out of the range of shit. It's like I could potentially
Pretty
trade
cool.
with her, but that would leave her with a lower strength and me with a higher intelligence if we continue with our trade.
Wait, so
Because
you wait. What
Because
would
if
my
I
strength
traded
be?
like my
A
intelligence
7?
with her intelligence potentially,
Oh God. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh.
but I don't think you
God.
wanted a low strength sorcerer. I don't know.
Well,
But I don't know if that's within our
I mean,
range
I'm
of
fine
like.
being a dope and like not and being like just all charisma. I don't know.
That's
I'll
kind of
take
interesting
it.
in its own right.
But yeah, I don't.
Thoughts?
I think that's a little low. Like 7 for you for what you're doing. Like you need a.
Which is why
It's
I'm thinking of
Ranger,
trading
right?
with her, but
For
that would
intelligence?
leave you with a
Yeah.
7
Don't you
by
need
one.
but I
Wisdom
have a
and-
16 in wisdom.
Yeah, because like
So
that's,
I'm like really
I don't know
high
a
in
lot, but
wisdom.
I
How does
know
that
what to
work?
do with
Can
the
we
things
Like
you
it's,
talk
it's
get.
about that
like
for a
I
second?
literally don't know how to read.
Can I address her question real quick? So intelligence is the ability to absorb knowledge, essentially. So it's retaining and absorbing knowledge. Wisdom is common sense.
Applied.
Wisdom is
Kind of
Street
like-
smarts.
street smarts.
Drug
Exactly. Say again.
Drug dealer.
So in the case of Shanna's character, high street smarts.
Yeah.
Very low education in terms of
Okay.
formal book smarts, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Can't
And-
math, but knows how to count on the bills.
Yeah.
My favorite definition for this, by the way, is
Has anyone ever
it-
seen The Wire?
is intelligence
That's
is
who I am.
knowing that fruit or that tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that tomato has no place in a fruit salad.
Okay. Then you're fine.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
fine.
You're okay.
No, I'm fine. Like I really am. Like I wish I was a little stronger, more like intelligent. But I don't
Do
really.
you
What's your
wish?
strength?
Do you wish you were a baller? I wish you
Okay.
were a little bit
No,
taller.
No, aging ourselves, right? Like no.
Everyone knows that song.
It's so good. Still relevant. All right, so nada, no trade. You know what I want. You know what I want.
Yep, you got it.
Cool. So okay,
Fair-
so
fair
I'm
trade. I mean,
taking your
you-
17.
Did you not
And I
trade?
got a 15.
No, I didn't trade.
Okay.
17 to my 15. Boom.
Sweet.
That's not necessary
Why not?
because I'm going to alter it.
But
Give
He
me-
needs a job.
It helps
Yes.
visually.
You don't understand. I'm doing nothing right now.
Oh,
So-
you're right.
Yes.
Thanks, you're helping.
You explained
You just helped
intelligence
me.
versus wisdom.
You stopped me from making a really bad trade.
But Bill,
just now.
when that's done and accurate, I want to have a picture of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. So,
I also
Oh
want
my gosh.
I also want to know what the
Ashley,
original was.
Ashley,
which
you
is why
have
I was trying to
15
keep
right now?
I have a 15 strength.
and Will, you have a
17 intelligence.
17 intelligence.
But
Cool.
I told
yeah,
you
I was
it-
keeping that around because I wanted
for
to see
you.
what it was before and what it was after Bill.
Yep.
That's why I wanted to see that.
Yeah, you did.
And we have it on camera.
Well,
Yeah, we have
don't
it on
do
camera.
two trades,
I'm
but
not
in
going by
the
that.
game, I will.
No, I'm just.
I guess I
in
will.
general.
Oh yeah, for
How
sure.
about you,
In
Will?
like
Episode
real
13.
life, you owe me.
All right, that's fair. That means I guess by those rules, Connor, you owe me.
Okay,
You
so
don't actually have to owe me anything.
Will,
Yeah,
you
that's
officially
totally-
traded.
I'm joking.
Well, it's
I know, I
kind
was
of.
joking too. You're good.
Shanna
I'm
passed.
Yep.
We're done.
We did it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we're done with the whole game.
Yeah.
Yep. We,
Done.
we won.
We won
now.
D&D.
Yes! Twice!
I like my stats.
Get your pick.
No, now we gotta fill in everything else.
Unless you don't want
My
it anymore.
stats are erratic, but they're all right.
I-
'Cause you
I
get racial
understand, and at the same
bonuses.
time-
And then you
I'll take
get
it.
background bonuses,
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
bonuses.
I could probably remember at this point.
Let's do that right now.
Does that mean like the more
This is
you
fun
fill
part.
in, like if you fill in
Yeah,
a,
but
a background,
We don't have to do that on
you're just like, I want to
camera.
like.
No, I mean we can
you
definitely edit it
get
out. I guess we could do it at
extra
home
shit.
too if we wanted to. But.
I just got your text, Shanna. Thank you.
Love you.
So now my question for you is, how did this feel?
I enjoyed it. I think next time.
Your idea.
No, I think next time we should do just not roll all stats at the same time, but like one person just go down their character sheet and have the
Yeah.
camera pointing on them. And trading was fun and all. But I think maybe next time no trades and you just get what you got. And you have to deal.
God damn, I love you so fucking
So
hardcore.
brutal.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, my
Brutal.
Yeah.
my
Like you don't
only
like your
thing,
16 strength.
I
Just
would
like-
not
Oh,
like that.
I
if
mean,
it
I
had rolled
love
so
my
well,
16
though.
strength.
this whole thing was really fun for me, and in terms of like I didn't think about like feeling zoned out at all, like at any moment. Like I was like the whole session was like really good. But I do wish that the trades were more like the game Pit, where you're just like yelling at each other, and you have like
Yeah.
no, I
Just,
wish
like,
that
trades like yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's great audio, but I feel you.
yeah, but like it's chaos. It's chaos for like 5 minutes, and it's like you
And then it ends and everybody's got a
literally
trade.
have a timer. Like that's how I wish the trades would go. So it's
A little more chaos, it sounds like, would have
Either-
suited you a
sounds
little
like
bit
either
better.
no chaos or a little more chaos.
I agree. I see it as a level of having. I would either want no trades, or I would want the ability to do like 2 trades, right? Like having 1-to-1 is kind of like that ended up having a lot of like, well, we might do a thing, and then really at that point, none of y'all can talk to me about trades that you want to do, right? Or
Like a
it
17.
felt like
or
that,
a trade
right?
with yourself, maybe.
Yeah, like I mean, a trade with yourself seems like,
One.
well, I want here's this or this.
One.
Maybe. You choose whatever you want. I like not trading with yourself because then you have to talk to other people. I like that. But then having like 2, so you might have some bargaining, you might have some trades, you might have like a, hey, I've got a shitty one I'm willing to give away so that, or because I'm going to get a better one to do a thing, like more wheeling and dealing with 2 as opposed to what felt like 1, which is like, it's going to be like the, hey, highest to highest.
Yeah.
Thing. I mean, granted,
Which
that
is
just
kinda
doesn't
not fair.
work
Like, it's
out
great
in that
for
your
us.
highest, my
Yeah,
highest.
yeah,
That just
yeah.
worked out right. Like, it
Yeah.
would have been maybe better if it was some random other ones that didn't work out right. But I liked it. It just wouldn't, like, I don't know. Something different next time. Definitely something. It's what I sound like. Like,
Just for fun.
Well,
because we have done point buy, which averages things in a lot of ways. Right.
Yeah, and point buy. That's why I wanted to try this because the point buy just feels so like safe.
I agree. I like the risk feel. I mean, easy for me to say because I think I feel like I won out a lot.
Yeah.
But I like the risk feel because it's also interesting to play those. Like
I'm really happy with my stats.
in an ideal world, if I was doing point buy, I wouldn't have a 9 dex even as a wizard. So I'm kind of intrigued about like being hit or being in the like where I could if something runs up on me, being like even scared about it happening. Like I'm kind of intrigued about that.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna be jumpy and trip over your own feet.
yeah, I'm on drugs. It's a very real. It's empty. I'm gonna be on drugs. I'm gonna be like and then don't hit me. It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna wrap up tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, all of you, for such a fun night. I mean, like picking our place in the timeline,
Characters.
choosing our characters, rolling up stats. That whole like debate was amazing, and I'm really, really, really honored and excited to be GMing next week, which is actually kind of frightening because I have a lot of work.
Next week.
I have a walk. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, man, okay,
compartmentalize.
let's do
Just
this.
where are we starting? You don't have to write the whole story, right?
Yeah. Excellent question. Are we starting at first level?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You were like.
I was just joking. I was like, I just want to start at 3rd level.
I
So shit
like
gets interesting.
starting.
but-
So
fucking
says you.
squishy as fuck.
I have never started at
Hey,
first
we're
level, so
in-
I
we're
am
in
excited
a
to
high
do this.
point.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just
We're in a-
spoiled because I started at level 11 last time. So I'm like, can we just start not at level 1?
Yeah. Can I have 5th level spells? Brad?
What is it called? The high point? Not the what's the period?
Golden Age.
Golden
Ashley,
Age. We're good.
Are you ready for the next year of your life?
Oh.
Yes,
No.
I'm
That's a
actually
lot.
really
That's a low ball.
No, I'm ready for that. Like I'm ready for the long haul
Okay.
because I'm tired
Long
of
game.
the short haul.
Commitment.
Thank you for tuning in, watching our shit, and being as excited, if not more, than we are. Follow us on all the things below. We love you.
All
Thank
the
you.
things below.
That was good. That was the same thing.
All right.